last 14 years so 12 years obe MP no tio ebi obeka se wo hunu nyansa ebe ma yeto aba ma aye campaign yeto aba ma for to be 3 times ah and that's one hunu nyansa adi watem wasopa wa dismantle wo kra enchirobuo eti amanyofo no pedi 42 monka wo so mo di machi no esuamo nante omu suamo ne yeye yetena ye nim na se bedwafo abaga na hakoda papa uso ankomanom anambeboa GH mensanom omuni ho kofi kuno do aprekunum mampeni na nadonom mampeni mahamai yakase bodi an bebere kwa asama wo ho no nkomo no mudio me ne wonya adwene se nem so se ebe yie yes anya tamdidie enti wako gina ho a wo di obi atamaso obi panimu a na wo kasafa no so obi so ka bibi safa ho a ebe wo de you call yourself an MP an honorable member of parliament obi kasafa ho me ebe me ya me pere mo bi akran kasafa ho se me wo ho a na ade be ikoso wo ho de ka motivation a nkuranhye motivation e bibi asopa so obi ye bibi na hye ni nkuran ya ma ne ye no more eboa no ene niema kete bi ayi so Ghana dodo no akwacha na memu ankwada na eye enye mpanyifo they are motivated from the beginning if you asase no ya show mu nkuran from the beginning iti amankwada na nya hotoso se ade na oye na obi ani so Asante Regional Minister openti penti nye bibi abe bibi pa de tie bibi pa ne se nipa na woma ho kwan na omo penti no ena ma de na bibi pa expose nkwala no a motivating kwala no etu behu na pani we akọ mekai asokwa mpihwe abranti we yi a wo de hwe wadi demo onante wadi dem wo de hwe ne nsa na de draw no kra what kind of motivation be kra na chen we hwe minister ni gina ne nchen o we be kase no pentia na aye dan na wonim dia wo ka o chine bia koda we sade yi empani tirimu da ni reri fi da ebe man the confidence level no akosoro ebe bon man confidence level akosoro na so enyi nipa ne nam ena onya hwe ena enye ehu ena nkrofo de paint kwakwa ye ho enye minister na wo bu na bam akwada na paint no na wo bu na bam enye minister na okasa tia no akwada na ye de na ba obe exhibit the talent no ono ena wo kana hye obi little na djuma na oye no wo se na djuma na ye fa so bi ani so ye nchechire man saa wo na okasa no so tumi nyehu wa wo ka no wunye hu otumi fa chalk ne payi bidie kura and draw wunye hu eti so bi ya mumye hye ni nkura ma ne nye ankanya asokwa MPP chairman ekoto kubeni niama ekoma nkware nso omonje ankanya de pa nka obedi akire ha ubehuna we aba kwa bi oye pizza no wabro mu pizza no we abra mu nsuo no we abra mu we no mo sakete wo ho I mean efe won obefun side keto bi ba esopa ofu se we wo internet so na se kwesi bodi bi hu oba bi a enka na koma se oba Ghana be ko kuma se akohwe asokwa interchange baby school for nkwala ko penti no onko abehye nukura manako it's a form of tourism but you sit in the same region the same city obi ye we no na wa sorry abete no wa kaseti tan me say enye regional minister no na mo sopa no enkwada school for nkwada na draw no wo mu na mo bu amabam mo ka o ma hye you are bringing them down. It's a shame. Ghana pese nipa be sorry Ghana pese nipa be ko nanim obi ko nanim a obi kwa se kwa hwe ba bia onimu hwe ni hwe no no wonya kwan no aba horo pani no ko nanim na kasetia na horo na agunu ofisa na ko ne baby. But did attempt sir, we don't do politics like that. Yɛnyɛ ne saa amana yɛkɔ so no wokɔ Dubai ne mia ahodoɔ no a sheik ne 111 wo hoi almost starting and could become almost anko medu bebi o maduro no Brigade oye na keka ne shanko du bebi o waduro no Elon Musk oye na keka ne shanko du bebi o waduro no wokɔ France a painting baako obi a ye board bi no painting so no etum omutumi turn about $3 million painting ketua bi keke o de ink ni aye you know draw yi bi aye bi dan omutumi turn $3-4-5 million back sa painting nkwa painting no nti se nkwada ne ye we a na obu amaba mu a o jire se bibia correct wo side de mo menja sa de ne ye na so bi ye bibi na bebo man na ye nyina fa ho de internet sade no nipa ne ye no mpo na e bia ye fa ne say sinto kakra bi wo ho a let's straighten the sinto ye hwe ne se sinto no se bia okwa fa so ye no mpo na bia enhye da nya yi papa bia ye odabi okwa wa fa so ye no dabi enti no okwa ne nie ye ne sei no nipa ne nye na o ma ne nya so fa so de bia na kwasi gburu ni ba fa ne amako de bia na kwasi gburu ni ba fa ne amako se nya ne sa ma ne nye ye ne sa me ka men ko ade bia meka bisa ka ye lutu omu yi anka gana fo anka se ya anka ye tu ya de because there are men you will nipa ye ka omu bomb betu for mu huge consortium ayesa adwuma no ntsaga na ni akokoje man ni ayi bi na se bia yesusu se niam bi wa akiri mpo a enti se kwase bodi be se sade akọ na Ghana ni beye na sika ni nyina be ka Ghana ha no emu de na ye se kwase bodi be se sade nyina no ama obe 10% or 15% or 20%. Not the 80% na akọ na Ghana ni beye na 100% ni nyina be ka ha no emu de wo he na ye. So your time say any brew say be you say den you near the sun near wa na nipa na bafom sa your box at nya wo gina hini awai ade na yetumi dia mi wa ye de ankase yetumi ye de bibi mumye nya na ntitwetwa ne se de ye bre di pass wo man mu no na so bi ye bibi na bebo man no a ye fa ho de internet chi okon ofa so ye na wo mpa a obetuma akira so ofa akwan we so ye a anka beboa. No, don't rubbish, don't bring people down just because of politics. Good morning. Yetwe ye twa hu tia wa ya ba afi ye bedi enkomo ana anisa na me ma pani bi entinkwa Mr. Yabua VIP wodom ahinkro ne pani oda no enra na Mr. Yabua na na woda na Mr. Yabua nya 69 years enti Mr. Yabua awo dom ahinkro anopai me ma entinkwa yenra ena na ye woda no na so nya hwese ade ache so ti bia wo bia no me ma entinkwa pa bidim so be bankra ha bedun kra ha so a de ankrafo ye wo ye ma wo no ye be ye edi amawo na no pay ye nua bo ama o ye floor manager ono so ne maame ye jan kwan randi kro ni e kro ban ya hefa aha kaso abodwo ase nti bo ama maame ene ye jan kwan ti adwumayefo no ye nyina ye de ho de kota bo ama achi no de jane ne maame kwan ene wu ayiya nti bo ama bebia wo bia no be mo shedin papa oba no bitu amantamsa ye de ko ya che kakra nti bo ama bia wo bia ma shedin na memi da be ni na wotwe ye ne na wotwe mienu na Ghana fo nyina atiki Asanteman atiki Kumasi fo atiki onu se bidja no kwan o Kumasi nti atiki abusu nyina mamu nyina shedin papa atiki was more than a brother years back. He's the only person I'm a friend. My friend, how much one crop befa. We huna obefre back. Now we had an unfinished business in Neja. I think the Quintino. The Bama was phoning in Asher, and I brand of so a baba na yabata much in a year. They had the Jamie and no kind knife fair. Tea ya ne share a war Cadillac. Sabreno, Nana Def and Hono. Bushani, and one wonka, honey, one quabuche quamomra. Ni nyina yenko ni ko jatiki kwan sanka yo no a anko beba ewie ena no pay abijafo edi kan beka mensa e be hyese na yedi nkomo no minifa so Awa Mohammed Okan PP communication team no ho ena afemi binkum so ye Ebo Bokman deputy national communication director edma United Party Ebo nso ewa ha enti omumienu yi and for now, or my baby coming sentino, Bripam, woman cano ever come home. You better almost say dinner for Yasha say Edin Como. Our Quaba, maybe I will call Yamiado, the radiasi. Otren Yamanado, the radia. Wouldn't him say Fuguchena Yash and Bakubino. Say, baby, I'll bet you to be an idea, account.
Papa, but a peculiar to Dagomba for. Yes, because tribes be or and no Enshadanka. But Dagomba for the peculiar, who they call right, Osha Haruna Idriswa. Most Lubon say Nidia no right to say, or no rest or influential person.
Okay.
And who so be the call lefter, or be a bit me the call left, and no rest say, or the but who yana ten be able to say or so say, because oh yeah, sovereign or hene, aha. Or more would you call my channel? Your warriors, it's a Obia Gunechi. And now, Omo Mudi call my name, actually said they are ready for anything.
Yay!
It will have
you are ready for anything.
But that is peculiar to the Gomba. Other tribes
that's wonderful. This make Ghana so unique, he said. Oshe se de city na bibia ye soronko nti akwa no social dem se ye ne ba ko bi na me ye na me de ko fa nkrofo mu di anka ready for anything anka maka soma to me anyway enti Ghana man no ekwa na wi ani sami se dabempo ochinachi na ye de Ghana man na akwa na wi ya ma na efe ye nkoso saa na ye nye mane kamakame hu ayi broni bia no odi fufuo na woni odi ni nyina odi fufu na bakwa ni nyina hwenam ni nyina me se se profu pe aduane aha ati umyenya ne sana o man na ni onyam no enko da nim kakrakra we ye ko ani yenko prekon awa sa one of my press conference about the big push any ho ensem semi say big push, you know. I say I so sourcing. Na sector minister no so say the musi kano no. enye sanity wo mu na wa ba mu wo mu na eye adwuma no so mu no mu kitchen ho wo mu na mu nim ingredients ya wo de aduane no wo tie aduane ne pampan wa bonten no wo setu sa de we pa de nutmeg wom suru sa wom famu sa wom we wom o se de bi nutmeg de bi wom na mo suru sa ne famu sa na ka ne bi eni e de ne mu nyina so pan ti amo ka se e so sauce na hu be hia se aban no ememu da ho ne hu de yakwan kasa pa mama 10 minutes
yo me da se ma menchia ya hwefo ene yetifo nyina na menkasa me da se pa for this opportunity na makase ene Dr. Baumia ebe kasa ewo London School of Economics and Political Science on artificial intelligence omo ewo afibia omo jumadia omudi nti omo frɛ empanimfo ema omo ba ene omo ekasa eti ene Dr. Baumia ewo London a obeka eho asem kakra again when we say MPP started on the 1st of this month and started registration say opesa we member of MPP a go polling station na kotro wudi e polling station register no edru ba bi hu se akwanside bebre eba mu enti ye de call online ema ye kan say obia ebetimi a register online also nipa bebre over 1 million a register edada nti akabe namiensa na say n9 because 31st na ye wi nti say onyan ko register na wo hwame a ko polling station book no ho na wa tworo wodi anasa wontimi a eno ane say obekọ member.newpatrioticparty.org na wa register member.newpatrioticparty.org na wa register eja enokre se ensam no ebaye no fourth estate for a omoye ensentre for mo a na omo edi ensam no abaye but ade ba kwa ye se meka pa ne se yekọ abakosem kakra na yaka se yebeda eye president Akufo-Addo eni Bawumia yebeda o ma se pa esan se the fourth estate ye no omo so deserve some creditor e was say yede ema omo esan se mekai se yenya democracy na in 1992 ade ba kwa na opposition no that time Dr. Kofi Kunadu Aprako papa uso ankoma ne omo ana omo opposition no e kan se yenya right to information yembo modern na obia uye Ghana ni a kwan a aban no efa so spend usika ni nyina no e wose unya so first draft of Sahara Right to Information Law no Parliament in 1998
okay
into we no free from 2000 up to year 2016 party bia edition ni manifesto mo say me ba me pass sa law no before eye ho adwuma kakra o de call Parliament but Mills time no o mo withdraw assign a relay ni na keka ho obi ani ho otimi ye President Akufo-Addo kan say oba obeye say na be ya at least uye sentreni uye Ghana ni na uhia information on ekwanya ye faso spend usika utimi eko emaniye enti ma fourth estate for eti ensensema eye ekoso in 2024 only in 2024 so sourcing ebeye one of the topical issues while crowd fidi pedophobe bebre ebae ebe kan say so sourcing the omoba on be free money na keka ho and this penifo ni nyina almost penifo ni nyina no e kan say so sourcing the e yade a omoba omuntimi e ka so sourcing na e no kire say obi ete baabi na me CEO na mafre obi bia metimi afre obi bia o qualify say okoye aban adwuma na me de adwuma na hye nsa se koye inti omo kan se saade no eye corruption saade no ema figures no inflate say 1 kilometer of road na ye 1 million kra odi man 1.5 kra na obi eni ho a obeka se ono so ebetimi ama offer bia e chain de nipa no den ma inti saade no omo beye free mu kra to the extent that omo de ko share omo manifesto into hwe NDC manifesto omo se omo ba omo bebo modern na omo de mrabia ba e kire se untimi emfa eye contract emo bibia sa agi se ko true competitive bidding be bie e de ato daily graphic mo na obi bia o ye Ghana ni a o qualify bia na obepe contract no oba na o qualify na de ama no to omo de shemu omo kan se ebeye exception and not the norm no no be ye se ebedanson kra say yema obi so simple eno kire se onu nko an betima ye adwuma no ana se aye critical e bia bridge be bu wo ye no ho hwe a enye ukasa wo ko true competitive bidding na nkrofo akọ bidding ne de akọ daily graphic akọ ya ebeche ena nipa no nso pe enu nko na beye ena omo ba ban mu no in March President Mahama ekọ National Economic Dialogue ehonso okokan to the extent that what the story be by ya kire se obi agi so sourcing contract bi a wonya 21 million asemfaso a wo feel say na ngani say oyesa because obu Ghana for afaso but eyemra ena de fa so de man no nti we ho hwe a enyeyi nti no obi ye firi ho oba first state of the nation address ekan second state of the nation address a okan ebe busumi ba akuni anase yamfa ne se na watwe ni busumi ni na watwe kakra osan kan se sa so sen ne de omonye kura ena uhwe eye amahama yarga ono so kan e parliament say de so sen kura de MPP aban ena na eye so sen no enti omo de eno no emma so one thing na emma journalism eye different from PR and they said we eye centrania utie de ensam nkrofo ka na wakoye nhwehwemu ehun se empase de omo ka no ewo ho ana anase na wakofa chiri akohwe saa na mu nsentwere adwuma no mu ye no so omo ka saa semi ena wo hwe de abakosem ba bia omo free ba ene de omo di ko hye omo manifesto ene nsam a omo ka ye just busumi ba kwa etwemu yi ema for first state for ede saa right to information no ede ko tumu eka kire road minister say ombo modena onfa omo contractor omo ye within 7 months emfa emma omo na omo nhwe contractor omo di amankrofo omo di contract no ma omo no contract ya 107 contract 107 no 26 per and a year restricted tender yaka restricted tender eno kire se utimi friend nipa miensa wa na obetu nsa friend nipa miensa anase nipa nsia at least nipa miensa at most nipa nsia na omaba na wayi emu baako e de ama no na de aka ni nyina de na eye yeto nsa frɛ obi na de ade no ehye ne nsa asɛm na omo ketia ye no eno pepepe no mo ye de president eketia ye ewo state of the nation no the same thing and a road minister aye within 7 months nti wo hwa saa 7 months no na month bia no na oma contract no maako 12 busumi bia eno so na eye saa so sen na oka ono no ejina baabi kan se enye papa anya de pana president edito so na mama yarga so de to so no eno abi na oye throughout that period no wa ma a single contractor na eye competitive bidding a ekọ ya e di bie mu ankrofo ehwe mu na wo hwe sika na ewo mu nso a eye 73 billion Ghana cedi it wo hwe a omudi bae na no bobeka se sa contract na odemaye no 74 to 90% of the contract odemaye ni nyina eye so sourcing na eye nkrofo na wa from omo nkrofo na wa from de ade na hye omo nsase omunye omo nkoye adwuma no initially o ka say nye no kore ena omo de list no e bae to the extent that omo publish e magana fo nyina hu answer na afi na call parliament e ko kan say oh the so source no kra no enye 74 na 44 obi a o kan say me ba me nya ba kokora me ya ba ko a e wo se ehuhia pa say yansa na yaye ena within 7 months wodi 73 amano eti o kan say 44 no no wa ma contracts ma ko be 400 ene Agya Kwabena ma producers nko check. There is no single contractor why in the last 1 year a call through competitive bidding. Was see what publish on the website. Go check your website and there is no single contract on the website. Go through competitive bidding. Anchor for they call daily graphic because say a competitive bidding I will say a call graphic mo na Ghana for nyina ehu say abaye pese oye kwan we ansa na yaye. So Ushe issues na omu raising na Suleiman Brema esa kofa akwan no ebae na edi kwan ne bae no issues are minority raising ye ne se ushe eye regions a eti eye de regions a ema oman ni sika dodo na Ashanti Greater Accra and Western region. Western region, there is no single brick push, no, omunya a crime akokra. Not a single route in Omodema Western region. Ashanti region eba akope. Greater Accra so eba akope. So minority can say a kwine ben na offer so a distribute kwine because we say omai ye chechiro omaya in terms of distribution of ye natural resources and answer your contracts no yetimi ehwe kuro no na yaye. That is one. Two is that costs no essence omu ye sa single source no Suleiman Ibrahim say omu hwehwemu ene nkrata ministry de ma omu kire say ye de be 30 million ekoye eko renovate office ba ko bi ewo eye enkran ha
office be
your friend saying Rose Rose ba ko no Fida Rose office ye de 30 million ene ekoye again we share the cost of 1 kilometer of road $1.8 million in some cases and again na ye bisa say a day pa na ye emergency because we say in chiremo de buy ni say ye emergency anything na ama oye in term because e be do ba bi na bia na okasa oko true competitive bid ya enye and na ye bisa say a kwan a ye express road between Kumasi and Accra over 200 kilometers no emergency ben na was a kwan na was say ye ho adwuma animoni mu ya ye hwehwe obi edition nsa say wa akoye ye di ye twesika ne bi ama no ye feel say anka ye be ye no because omo ka say kwan no e be take 3 years ansa na omatime ewie kwan no enti na ye susu say anka obiemu a anka others nso etime be fire because omo can say ombe expressway no with in collaboration with the private sector omo de be ma omo no omo ye adwuma no omo ye adwuma no wi a no omo age hu sika kopim say ombeti omo sika efiri mu it is Kumasi Accra ba bia ye fa ide eno no obi abetime afa so free ba sa kwan no ye wi a private sector no begigi ni sika e de awie eti hwan na odema no eye den na odema na wan magana fo nyina ante esan say ye hu emergency in that ekwan na omaye no so enu ntina ma ye ka say we no senior omoka no enra say na ye corruption no ene it is two things either say omobaye no baby ni ho omahu say ampa yatimi aye corruption wo ho akwan na edima eni nyina na ye de ma ya na problem bi ani ho because wo hwe oral report na baby ni ho a e kire se na akwan na ede ma no ye de ema ye friends enkrofo a na enye papa e wo se Ghana for eji sika bi efiri obi ho baby so that is one. Two is that the na omo ka se yembe yen omo ba omo nye no na omo eye ahoya bi essence omo hu se ye adwuma no e wo se omo ma Ghana for hu se adwuma na ye no yenye ne papam ena de omo na ebe ye already kura no na so sen ba ko ye de akoshraj Sami Jenfi ene eye deputy chief of staff there no eno no ye de akoshraj enu tena ma ye kasa we no omo publish contracts omo se omo ye no se omo 400 contracts on publish na Ghana for nyina hu because up to now on publish enu tell say contract bi ani bia oba ye no road contractor o ma nyina ene ye nyina ye wo eye gina hoji a wasesa NDC for ena wafro omo e de ama omo se omo nkoye contract no
na contractors mu ni mu omo
se afi na omo di eba ba ko ye friend say apa West Regional ye friend say chairman di eka ho ne keka ho se oye Ghana ni na oye contractor na obetimi aye adwuma no na oye national chairman kura na enfuso bi anim de wom ene se biem na Ghana fo hu sa ampa se Agya Kwabena construction company na ono so feel se ekwan na eko express road no obetimi bia na ono so akọ bedebi etu akọ bede na ekoye ekotena se na ye nhwehwemu hu se Agya Kwabena na o say demand na say chairman na o say demand enfu so bi anim but se wo say ade na ye no na emra no eta akire problem bi anim no eya de bone a ye de no agina so ewia Ghana fo sika sana chamije mfikan sana minister ya ono eye road minister at that time now ye minority spokesperson on road ekeka ni nyina president eka and match last year osaba state of the nation address eka the same thing say yen time no na ye di wia Ghana fo sika even though na oni nyina so bia ene de ye kohwehwe mu no time na ogina parliament eka no na minister no ete ho no na minister no aye maako 74 me kura de meka say ni nyina because the call restricted tender no say na me di kan kire mu no restricted tender ne say wa wo be fra wo nan fofo anase nipa woni mo mo enye say bia wo advertise company bia no e ko register with agencies they say road ministry so we contractor uko na wa ko register into ko register kire o capacity na keka ho a into say omo pekwan bi e de ama obi a na omo e de capacity no na o ma show capacity no ma you right
wa ho den so
no ma you right
to safro
no ma to mo safro into omo to mo safro wa na o ma kasa wo Agya Kwabena ebo ene awal momra na mo fam nkranta bra mo de mo kranta ba na yehuni nyina na ye de eno agina so ahudie ono sefata eno kra no e wo se true evaluation panel into panel ne be evaluate na mo hu se we in terms of technical any finances ukabo mu a we ene betimi obi betimi ewie technical no but the do finances na no ma hwe se ni sika na asene boarding no ma hwe Agya Kwabena ni technical no okay Neso ni finances so say okay etiene enfama Agya Kwabena but e bia obi wo enu tena ma sometimes so betu so obi aka say contract made 100 million me can say me etima na 100 million neso e dia ma obi 200 million e bia na ono ni technical ni do so chen wo dia no finances and do so enu tena ma ekosi sa enu tena ye ka say e wo say ye transparent na minister no publish all the contract fortunately the edema sa fourth estate for ne dia omo publish omo de no ama ye nyina yehu
na mo say ye so so na famra kwan so
debi ni nyina famra kwan so but sikana e woso no e do so esan 1.8 million dollars for a kilometer of road no e do so wo hwa gene kwan na sapiti nanso na 1.5 million dollars for just a kilometer of road na keka ho eti ye hu se contracts ni bebre ho a omo blotu no esan se omo fire omo nkrofo omo di se omo nsanti omo etimi ablotu sa contract no enu ntina ye ka se ye hia transparency na omo asan abapa Ghana fo nyina achew ama Ghana fo ate se saa de na ye na ye de contracts ni ma no ya anya fum so bi a nanso that time no omo sopa ye etwe abo so e kan se na yetimi asai eye oman ni sika ye wia Ghana sika omo nye hwehwemu na omo fa baabi a ye wia Ghana fo sika no emra na omo so omo de no yenso ye be fi ye ni ahwe enye na de bai mo am nsentrofo ene call ya omo de bai ya first one omo deny later ene omo abeje atum say 44% obi a o say at the end there be exception there expressway
na me se bisa sen but me ni nti se ebetu abase bia me kan se me ba me nye ba me beduru me hunu se man pe da kufo ne kana se you say yi o kan so be bibi
yes
but oba obi hu no se Ghana for sana me kan se me ba me ye na so no me begura me hu se me ye ni sa enye de betumi ayiye enti no e fan se bia makasa me nye so sourcing ba me beduru mu na hu se ade ba ku minum yesa bi wo ho nti no manye so sourcing na nya de betumi aboa eno so ni ho
yes eno ho ankatama president echo sa economic dialogue no na akoka ho asem eno kire say there is no coordination between the government the president the cabinet and the minister of roads because ankasa coordination no ho anka president omba just a month ago embeka say omunye so sourcing abra na omo sign contracts makuma be 100 and something na ni nyina yeso sourcing
medase yesa ka Alhaji Nasiru Muhammad on deputy director at General National Identification Authority. Alhaji assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
salam. Say chiriya we wo say we dey yanwenam meboa.
Oh yanwenam say akoko nam ye akoko nkitin John Mani Muhammad to me ya ne me meto me nkoko at 100 cedis per one national service for farm
almost nkoko na fu
100 cedis one kese me kai pa ze afibi etwemu na beti mo sister stations ni bi ka sena nkoko bo ayedin eden ne keka ho e ma ne be ya asem okrum ha ene de yaze utumre na wachire baby a me kotoye no 100 cities em so mo ye advertisement ma obi a so hu say wo moton wo nkokọ wo mo ya kese ya kilos no do so kese
na si
at 100 cities enti eno na ama yen Mozambique for no dodo ano ene woni obu biara ono so pese o ya adoye ama ne botoma tono na chese eduma pa John the man Mahama e ka say o ye na Ghana for astati
unfortunately yeah Ashanti region there yeah nyasa because na omuni yeah omuni farm no ho
omuni farm no
until you turn 170 between 170 and 250 cities the evidence no cry by because me
national service no almost some dey 100
yeah akran kwa
ko obenya
Ghana ya akran kwa
ya so mpa
Ghana ya akran kwa
o sa kwa na otepa Akwaba ya so mpa lawyer ni osadua ya kwanta de hye onopa ye kase ne ma mete wo hwe ye nti ye ma wachi ya bibia boko
ya me na dum e che boko de
adum na
as a politicians na edim ko woni kai ai na fa de chene
sa wo de ebo wa ha na asa na ebububu ma me ko alaji so anse sanse wo mu na asam ne form wi na ya ba ebu so ansa na alaji sa so si I said there wa aka no mu ba kasa mo nye kura ba mo contract ama nyina o de kasa ko wi kosa ba more than 100% more than 100 bu de ma so no kaka motu bi be na hye chiri ntia ama ne ho ahuhu ai se ehu ni ko e se ye tin dia na ye mu hihie samu ye so sauce na emu joy na mo ye obi ka se so sauce na e ka no wo fam so sauce na e ti sei so sauce na e wo ho ye di ani hu enye so sauce na ye hu hu hwe minority for say nyama bi nko yi onuafo agboja be kire mu se enye sanity but still no omo kusem bibire ka e de fa ho mami ti wo so adwen kire besimadu
yo ne di guy ya de nche sombo ebema ahwefo to some extent etie fo nyina na masan so etieamenuanom ye nyina ya behia wa em se o man kan konti na ye nyina ye boy ho body se ye kase ye kabima minke bia na ma obi aho kwan se nya onte ase no otumi bisa na ye kirikiri ni na ye kirikiri ni mu ewie na se okase be de wa kirikiri na nso bibia migira no ehwa na migira dia na ne akwa se ono ani jejiriji is ya konya group of people bia na esa nka bi ma menka bi ene politics nti bibi biara ya beka no omo adwen se e wo se wo oppose. That is what you do in opposition and menjin di se sana ye koye wo opposition ye wo opposition in the past 8 years no ye live responsible opposition me kai mre ya na o mampanie be di ekire sa mre no ya alaji baumia ka se womo change the discourse in politics to science and data na ama obiati ase na ye jai kasa bebre no na emse sa asem no mu wefi ama wo fa free parliament ekopim agwa mu echi nyina no ne eye kasa keke na ya tu egu se nipa na mbeka se odi ka na eye bibi foforo amen o to me who say adera dani agrobia yedi to the extent say a bit to me etu anamon a say amnamo abema o man no akone nimu no na obi ede in school kwala akoye bibi pa amazante man no obi asore enumre say okope pa just because ye politics eningwase say die na say opposition no emwa yen nti enya asem opposition ye kan and indeed opposition no lose one right to even make such contribution wa bra ye bi saw mo asama na omo ye ano metimi aka ma asama akire ama wo sources ko emra na NDC in minority raise issues with the sole sourcing of the Nanado Dankwa for government asemo na ye so omo sore keke na omo sore ye say that time no auditor general the report aba say so say no mo ye wo koko roads no inflating roads no and then when the report about say NDC yatia mrabi anasa ye bibia enye on toward Satan na the time general the report abetuja say koko road na MPP for the man so say no wo mo abroti figures no ama cha say sika amba aban sika na so man sika akodi amanfo bi kotokum ama say adwuma no yenye nti say ye raise issue of source at that time one na yedika na ne kwan so esan say na bibi e de atudwa evidence state institution aye hwehwemu e dokore ko ekire e de abrayen say bibi atochima. Now let's come to the contemporary issue where ye kan ho asem in the eno eye ejuma eye big push His Excellency John Dramani Mahama owo opposition o Ghana for bo say seni ye kwan no eteno indeed wo kaya before 2020 the last election 2024 election o hwe bibia mekai UTV aye ba no pa ye ba na eye kwan ho asem obi aka ne kwan ho asem just na a kwan ho asem abeye ne wo ho from Volta region to the northern region Ashanti region the level of demonstration o man penyi kotena ye ba zai Ashanti region ye kasa e no mo bisa ne say ye kwan enye enti then na wo ya fa ho am wo ka kire mo say mo nto aba na mo nja ye make all those things. Those are the issues. Ashanti region, the heart of the MPP as a political party. What would you want to say? And teach on the man in Mahama Ebano, or share Ghana for what say a quine one semono, obedi Wejuma. Ampara, Obayans will do Wejuma. I'm a big push no promise Ghana for one, or the Atuja, and by a starting Wejuma. Na side Jumana Yeno, Emo Bako 48. 23. 48 ni mo MPP for aban no na de maaye a clear justification and confirmation of John Dramani Mahama promise say me de me ya aban ya me ba se edwuma bi ekoso a me jai na makasa me ko start me de senia obi beto ya venze e blocks ni ne ekeka ho oja tu ngura mu ene ne ekeka ho aban we ba ye no wo se ewo mu se wo na wo de aban dada no na de maaye adbainda da no so ede ma no na wakọ free sika bebre wa manone ama ya pamyen e wa manone financial money market no say Ghana wuntimi nkoho biom esanse waji sika esom ebroso ama ne be ne wo kasa wuntimi enye dan nka kire me say wo sa abaji busu because ya ba obusu a yenim senia wo de betua fair and good John Dramani Mahama ba o se sa akwan ne wo say yeye eye ntumi so enko amanone nkoji sika nti wo se ye dan ye twinsu every obom e wo man Ghana mu na ye the experience and intelligence ebu man no e no ye ya wonye sika e de ye sa akwan no 23 na wo ye no na wo nyina fi site before the 2024 election is a fact obi enim wo ko takurade interchange a wo mo ye wo ko nsawam road way a na ye ni nyina no obi free site because abani ni sika wo de betua do Mahama ko pay sika baaye sa 23 na America ni nyina MPP for the maso source ni nyina MPP for the maso source do Mahama nka say me sisa contractor no e de me contractor foforo aba ma no so 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 wo a ye de ba wo no to aso ye wo adwuma na makope sika ni bi wo fie e de amount say sign to ye adwuma I can't tell na contractor be na koje GOG adwuma government of Ghana adwuma because wo je a wo ya ye ntua because aban ni sika and they aban no demonstrate say o man Ghana mu ye betimi aye bibi sonko na yetimi aboa ye ho ama oye na odi say adwuma we nyina e de atudwa ama ya start na me no wo ekasa sisi hemfa na auditor general and as a state institution bi a hwe proyene katashyem ade abetudwa se me no wo ekasa yi say adwuma no a ye de ma contract no na figures no bi ya bloti obi amfa mba MPP for na de ba na MPP for no mo de ba ye no so mo kasa wi a ye bisa
so sourcing
of course what about you say which institution and they able to just say that's who sourcing no ya de sika ebro so na ye no institution MPP for na de ba
Fourth Estate
ye dey or
media
auditor general na Fourth Estate no no can say MPP for mu ni anu say mo be kasa wo kroma I don't mo kasa if you are making reference to 4th estate onu an kasa be ka say mo ni anu because mo bre no na ye bisa asem kura no obi eni wo be yi anu nti mu ni anu nti so onu no ye mo reference a let us say mo ni hu kwan kura say mo ba betina amaye no ye de mo di nkomo besides that 4th estate to me ye nyoma bi a later otumi bab ekire be ka say na wa ye mfom so ye mfa nche no there are several ones you betimi akọ back to history you betimi aye reference and me hu say auditor general akoye report aye bibia betu dwa say po ye ne katahyehyɛ akoso wo bibi na later wa be ka say wa twa assign emra na me any me party NDC for ye raise the issue of corruption of source na MPP for the mine no na auditor general dey report e dey betu dwa so we can't sit here and be talking like maybe say 4th estate anti yamfa enasamo eye
na I don't know ka say for state for na de buy ya na say eye bibi a hu betumi ehia o man na say betumi esuma pija ka say so see a source no ana say the asem no de buy no na yesese yehwe
na make can say asem no de buy na yehwe mu na yehwe mu no so na yekọ ekusi say me no ka say yese amra Emma ho kwan say obeye so source emra ntia emra bia ni wa atia indeed enu ntina MPP for bre no a wo mo ye no obi anti bia nka trom say munja esan say mwati amra na emum yesi sika no a ekọ sai djuma ni mu no ye di Ghana for hwamo enu na ye raise issues now say emra ntia so na emma ho kwan a ensan so emma ho kwan keke because me no ka say Kwabena if you can say abaya or the discipline aba amamu a obi antumi enyi Romane Mahama ene the second coming way emfiri mu esan say me no wo e ka say me wo ejuma wo abanjuma mu a me so be ye to the extent say wo betumi akoto bibi kura no e wo say to say why your budget na wo di akọ na aban na agi budget na tum na di akọ parliament approve na ye ka say okay ya approve na ye be ma osika na wo pen sei na de ma na wo tumi di ato ABCD wo ye enu nyina awie na aban ne be ma osika no nso a wo koto saa de no a wo say wo sanko Ministry of Finance na o ma assurance say ade no wo koto a metua say na be ya contract for wo mu ekoje ejuma na ye nkoye ejuma wie ma ya ka say afi mienu afi miensa se ne a ebi mu eye aban bi atwa mu no a ene wo musika nyina akoka mu na wasan so ama sa assurance no ansa wotumi ayeden akoto ade no na afedi aban etua san hyehyɛ no na ye nyina yetimu enti sese no wotumi mfiti prekope watenso se aban no aye nhyehyɛ awuro bebre including klase some benefits ni ye can say conditions of service bia yenuano mo a 8 years ago o muti aban mu nyaaye no aban we ba ye no se de me de me ntimi nto aso sa esan se me pesika e de ama oman no puntu akodenim what ya last 2 weeks o se say yenyina yete ha de ka say board ye first say members any board chairman ne ne yekeka ho aban esi wo mu kwan se wontumi biti prekope emfa aban sika emfa ntukwan ne ne yekeka ho ye appointees wa aban agina ni nanso aye ni obetumi aye bi ama wakati troubles o betu kwanya the several layers of approval wo ankasa wo na obetu ya wo sika no kra no e bi amekoto ade bi wa boti wo koya de ni nyina ne wo so wo fa to the chief of staff ne ne kaka sanse se ye we nyina wo ho aban bi ato ho just to make sure say o man sika no ye mfa ndi agro senia ebi mu adidi agro enti wa ye we nyina na se emra no so emakwan se wo betimi aye so source na all makwan no because section 40 of the Procurement Act no so straightforward etrel senia wo betimi aye so source no now one of the reasons are or they be so source no say exigencies of time say emre eswa emau nti se wo kasa wo be go through all the procurement because about 1 year and yes I be the new keka ho sa processes no na ye kase ene ye san so eko pin bid na ye bibia aba omo technocrats na tell yen say e be take it to another 7 months wabra kwan no eti ho aye twen wabra John the man Mahama oba aban mu me ka say alaji ba mi na one nam yina so mo pe obi obedi 8 years and obi obedi 4 years nti obi anim say 4 years na ye de be ma no 4 years no so wo say ye pen say bossa say Ghana for no standard say ye about to bre eso a obi ababisa on the bossa wo say that is the standard that ye dey hold obi a nti wo 4 years nti the 4 years no so the 2 years procurement processes na owo mra kwan se wo be ye bibia abeti sa 2 years ne so a mesre me bisa Ghana for money ye ama Ghana for ho ntowom money ye ama Asante region for an wo mo bisa wo mo interchange ne da be na Sofola interchange ne e keka da be na e be complete ama wo sa to me road no a abeye ne e wo ho a wo mo bisa ye ne e wo utisa wo kokuma se ko hu this a wofa your friends and so on ha say pokwasi ase wo konsa won this a wo Volta region now wo fa your friends said the Eastern Corridor now wo hu send your man for ebre into one tenase wa bra e ma no kwan say wo beti ba ye bibi SPD the processes man for ho ato
and no difference be na wo mo de no na MPP for de no sense MPP for so some mo kan say mo Bluetooth figures no
MPP for kan ye mfa nye du wa beti me metu wo nipa o kasa ma MPP be ya wa I can see I met me raise and try what Ghana after Ghana for more than 100
and some of can
more than 100 and no met me amount near woman Dikaini the first Baumia e kan ye Alaji Baumia e kan ye more than 100 I hear no correct met me aka ape no make o mo mpeni phone ne near waka about 100 I hear no correct na say you cry about parliament as am betwe ebi esan nti wo no mo ka asem a ye de be ejuma and as state institutions no a ya ma wo tumi ye de sika ene emra ta wo mochi e ka asem a na ebete those are the fundamental questions we need to ask and na mabisa wa hasa state institution ben and na what ya betu dwa say wa ye nhwehwemu a kire say sa so say no Ghana for sika akoka bibi obi amfa mai. So that is the issue.
Because me to me can abusrimuka. Esan say anya hwe say o technical people so wo ho munum say we here kwan 1 kilometer next asphalt skase ne sese utia depend be bia obeye kwan.
Correct.
Enti
correct.
Say sa technocrats into me kire say kwan we dey da bi escano e wo soro dodo. So betumi technical people betumi ho.
But na ha aka kire o ma banyi dada Nanado Dankwakufa Sake interchange Dubai Amra ye na MPP for Subanyo bibi biara ye Ghana for ehu ye fe na Ghana for benya ho fa so no e wo so obukutia enti ayo mu Suba it from time memorial saa no mote e na saa no mo de wo mo ma ni atumi etoa so saa there is nothing wrong new about the MPP meti ya ma historical antecedent nyoma omo aya be pem zen me no wo ka sei ama omampanyi John Dramani Mahama ewiase nyina ebo na abaso say watumi aye bibi papa ama to say wo mo be fa say ye nkonko asum ni ne keka ho no ye gya wo mo enti wo say ye bibi a ye wo mo ebehunu say apart chopper wo say bibi o na wo mo e de ama ebibifuo esan nyamransem a wo mu di wo mu ne ne keka ho enti ye kasa asem parliamentary ye say minority leader a o ye MPP penyi etibi so re kasa say ya kasa na ye ntimi enka because ebibifo nso ka ho ema ye sa de no I mean utie sa comment away from MPP from penyi for clearly kire wo say nsem a ye no mu bi ye hu na books na e ka kire yen say womo empe independent de de keka ho no ni nyina no omo eda ne di ne amagana fo hu o man no omo mpe yen de pe man no na me ka kosi so say yen NDC for no ya ye nia ye
be so so sin no munye bi ma ye nso a eye correct na ho ne say asem ni gina
na be say very correct because ye can say wo be ya one e bia kwamna wonkwa na wo sa technology no a ye de be ye say juma no me ntumi nkaka say awa alaji ne we momfa we bidding because we need technology wonkwa na wo nti eno eba betimi de wo nkwa ye na sa so say no so wan sorry keke e wo ministry wan fa nko wo o san so ko PPA ko di approval approval no okoji o PPA no on the basis of the urgency of the job say oman penyin no why promise say 80 by 2028 na wo wie kwa no enti yesra mu say you kase you go through all those processes na ye bebre ebi wo kra ye de amadeda enti ye to aso enti say mo betumi a mo hwe mo mra nu na mo hwe nhyehyeye nu say betumi a mo ma ya kwan na ye yes so say no PPA for go through ehwe ye e ka so mo betumi aye e na mo ma mo kwan na mo koye ye enti imfa na ye body.
Okay, me da say meba ebuso nansa na no edu bi a obo say man yen fansem bi enya amanyosam because dia be kan no ne na o chena hwe a wano be yuka sa so si hu nsemi ebra na NDC opposition omo ka ho asam one typical example you nya for Samboku de to abla kwa ono kura kan bi ma yentie ni samo kan ye no about so no yewiara memre busu na ntie de bobeka
the Reset Ghana Manifesto ne say yeba amending the Public Procurement Act say single source yeba chaso because it's been abused.
Some of you on record.
Oh yes.
Yeba
chaso ne say the Reset Ghana Manifesto ne say yeba amending the Public Procurement Act say single source yeba chaso because it's been abused.
Some of you on record.
Oh yes. Yeba chaso.
What you say about Kaina or see you be chaso because it has been abused. Ebo what you say about Kaina and the then government the turn worker say it has been abused, you know. And then the abano so buy ya no wa ba no bi ono so wo mo susu so mo ye say the ho some people abontin ya na wadwene mu hu ni say ebo 10 minutes
eja me da say o di kan mam nchi a etiefu na ahwefo na minchi a mo nuanu mam nyo studio ha na nkankara wora nyim meguafo oye Cape Coast fo o ma hin no onye mayor of Cape Coast na pe mi chiawan busuafo na nyankofo nyina so mi chiawan na pe na eja so ne wa nso ben bi aka the second a ode jazi ituma ze bo banchi at the church wonam as you trazi moyefe second na so tumuzewu ebufu ba ebutum za eze probi banu ebutum ze ko bi mpo nti second na nkasa ode wono ya azebon ekwana ebefodo be use na ba mo wa ya azebon pojata sa dem na so not so in and of itself no on ya azebon because dem amu nya wa ka bi no ma kan azibi ho a nipa ko pi no butum waye at the time in here damazin nipa ko butum waye amon ntintum ka da twen na mko hwe da menya binum so aka ho ansa na ebe ko mpo nya bi nso
ezim ho na beba
na beba nti o se da yin so obi wo so a emergency bbc impempenya ihia bibi as ache bibi ansa na ba advertise na ya hwe na ya akọ ona nzama asay nti emergency situation so o call for so nti ye wo ebi wo so wa supply why but even wrote yambo as a man first one as a man competitive bidding or yeah in phases and the first phase no ye wie no hunda papa why ye dwume papa onime dwume no nyodo papa nti e ko second phase a dey aboko akohwehwe ma ne hunda papa na why ne ye ne zabekodo na nkasa ya on to yado nti so no ye azo mo ya azebo no nye de se azen se ibue ma nti bia ne consumer say amema ya 10 cedis esu beka na mayen 12 cedis esu beka na mayen 8 cedis nti atutuma abaka do awdo e kada be 8 zi 10 is ya hwene ahonze no butuma en better than 8 zi bia ne skara ka no sokra e pede wi no contract nti na e kada man nti abahwehwe ma na yiko na so be so na ono ye competition nti ipa kono obaka do mayen 20 cedis nche enyi bia into front to be ho because that got no ze bay enti ono na nkofo fodu na wozu bu omanen nti nya okudwa to ngote na wakada ma asem yo mama example na akufado 2016 asa na oboyo mampanyin August 2016 23rd August or tweeted amazi or ne page. This Twitter. Also, the era of soul sourcing will come to an end. The era of soul sourcing will come to an end. And Akufado, answer no boy mampenino. The man catch a gun for the son of Buzo mampenina. The era of soul sourcing will be. So because the massemia, a statement on your okujato a black can, so see me anymore. Obabe you be trado. So soon you name himself bande, yes, your language, no nuances and azana. Ne eshe there you no one can do without soul sourcing or kon papadwa. No there one kade what was the second butchum 10. Meaning one abusing. Because this so if something is going to come to an end, no the mazino and just say I will ban in secret. But the Minister of Roads or Parliament no can be our opposition behind your butumna wetumna abakade asema koyano kwan. Also papaya okada masemi there the era of soul sourcing will come to an end. Obayo mampenino they did soul sourcing of over 90%. To you.
The road minister says 100% of all the road contracts were so sourced.
Was so sourced, yeah.
The one that we bequeath to them, son of kind. So just 23 na bequeath to them. Was saying na yes so sourced.
No. Also, the contracts now. Oh yeah, over 90 was almost 100%. Papa na okade to come to an end, you know. Ono be ye so sourced now. Oh yeah, almost 100%. Now, me say President Mahama, I could talk but me say President Mahama so can't say me about so sourcing. Look at that, so sourcing, no, they will do everything to ban it, except in exceptional circumstances. That's the exact word, except in exceptional circumstances. Not there, one my cave, one my leeway be the couldn't be the order. In some way, you're able to make them cry, into me and chum cry, but all miss it being here so sourcing. The center. Oh yeah, okuje to nom no nye yan Ghana fu ya yesi odo baby I so source na yan je yan position in there so source no financial president nza when fi you know former president ben one and the only president can order so source only position of the UP United Party.
Okay.
Yes, most were abusing in tincha former president ko say am as a president abuse be the president I want to abuse the so sourcing powers are there's am as a nation since in there. My brother, Alhaji Kase be there. And yet there, Ghana for sure work there. President Akufo-Addo no by we on administration no. Why be so source no? Auditor General's report obey. E be there. Oya Alhaji Bawumia, no contractor. Resource Access Limited. Contract be was the man cocoa road contract was man. According to Auditor General report no, we inflated price 3 times. In other words, you know, we increase the contract by 200%. 3 times the price I just said there was it road in Choboko for 10 cities. We had 30 cities. So sourcing was a man, former vice president Alhaji Bawumia contractor. No, indeed, we have abuses so sourcing. And I big home. Won't to me wrote when you so sourcing. Won't to me Cocoa wrote as a winning in so sourcing. No, it is a Abaka said Ghana for there. The era of so sourcing over baby, and there you know I over 90% so sourcing. And that's all be so abanos in there. Musumoba, no so over baby, no why 44%. Over 90% over no. I will say. Nimpa why 44 no why one kasa ebimba Ghana da.
Me say 100 and you 44. That's what I'm saying. I'm challenging the minister. Say 100%.
No, that is your word against ministers.
Because it's not there.
So you prove it.
I'm proving it to be 107.
No. You are alleging. Please. You are alleging. So prove with facts and figures. Don't just say it. And I'm saying that minister on the floor of Parliament. Record here come and say, on the floor of Parliament. So that Parliament to a while the official. And I'm And so it is the word he said on the floor. I was an Ekanwaha without any fact and figures. And the point I'm making in there, it's in a message. Ghana for Obaka the Massenia Wonka on your MPP. It doesn't lie in the mouth of MPP. Our area 90, almost 100% so no. Obia 40 and Chabona Baru, or said the 1 year may now Momna castigating there. Why as a bony be why as a Cassibion ye? But Ghana far, what should I want young man your son? Ghana far, one should I want your day and you prefer him by Birmingham Bay so singing. Na nka na ada CPP for one kada wa MPP as e bay I kan na akufo do e kan na ba ya mosin mo won mpo na ba aba moral right aba moral turpitude na e wo to be saying there obi accommodate on pardonable sin into on power chow. Can you imagine on power chow then inti animation there so no. Or yaza owns your many meme because people can easily until I'm kind of second. It can obia na dream the whole or do many obutum wagen pepe. The case you be so or ye we some seasonal dream. And open up money for ma. The money for kono so obutum na wa for kono na or the so no. As I know example is the Dr. Baum's brothers company. When inflate a contract 3 times the price.
Which of the contracts?
It is
which of the contracts?
83 million contract. 83 million contract.
Where? Any sika? Where did he know the contract?
Okay. The fact
sit on TV.
No.
You see?
Okay.
Awal.
It's not my time.
Awal. Aleka Mankasa. Into Mankasa. Into Buena say Robata. You can give your Robata. And I'm saying that. Dem sentinti na so kudja to kere ebochema na ozika na mmom yesre moving forward no mama ombaye de yenya a certain percentage obudu 44% again yen blow fom yen hwe de azuru we be here ampa na my much a big pushy the agency with which open why a big pushy we need big push at this stage because all the baby we catch why about 13,000 kilometers of roads or Ghana ha na mamon kasem ncho eja in 13,000 kilometers of road ne mileage
Terry
or from here to China na say to me a road from here to China then chose the Ghana almost every part of Ghana ben chose each other young road or ye juma but Accra men ko echi Accra here for sabe mo Accra here some of the roads na is it the capital city of Accra?
Chibi hono na kafu no mabe.
Nso man year of road 1, year of road 2, year of road 3 under Akufado. Okay, Amakwata. Also we are moving fast. Catch up. No catch up. We na chede we move fast ama we chiri no when two man hwebi man the eko mamu eko Cape Coast for road tido for ha eko northern part of until the big push is necessary. So if say ya buy in tam na so ibinya value for money na ya inflate the figures za and we can do so sourcing instead of so sourcing on has ban say butum ya inflate the figures ibinya value for money na in tam hunti ya so sourcing because all competitive bidding auction about publish we could process him obey months and sana aye into the keep that show dey butum ya so sourcing into so on has the bun.
Okay.
On Tiambra, then I'm making a corner for this trend.
And on Yasam.
On Yasam.
Yaw. What's here? Said yeah,
but
as I say, as some no
before we baron. Obisa question.
Yeah, obi. What can I be trying? So we have to. What also change?
There be my young kasa. You have it on kasa. You kasa we pacho.
Because
no pay baby your contract now with this car.
Asam no omo opposition a e wo de omo ka omo ba ban mu nso a e wo de omo ye de omo ka nko e de omo ye nko se ya ye tie kire na so wa tie kire a wonye omanyuni na mo ye Ghana ni won se ne ma we koso a gidi a yenya ewa manyofuo mu no na ekosɛn trust eyade ho hia pa bia brabo mu de ade ho hia pa ye trust this akobese me ba so say menye ma be yes dey for 80% to 90% to ye ba ye be hye mra so say no e be twa so because it has been abused upon it has been abused no yes 44% any dem ma it is ayen chirechiremu na ma yie anase because of mechanic o mo kan trend o mo ye ne trend so fa ne trans ana
eja me da say eja senior mpanyifo kan yencha ahwefo a ma gebra no pai ehwe matiefo ne mpanyifo wa ha eja moni ejuma pa ne ejuma so na oje akonya ye memre da no pa bia politicians as a kumfu dumfu mema mesi de oko nso ne boy hina and usually in opposition no say o print them about to me munti America president we say as a you're outside the tent pacing inside the tent sebi o as a yaboku ewo dwabi mu na yemfrɛ wo ho no ujina abonten na sebi wa you be ma na odunso gum said your mubefi or no akofa and it's become the nature of our politics said you international and policy no hu ye pote bijina nchen a mini awa jina nchen by whatever means he must person okwa abonten na yenua alaji ba by whatever means he must person and it's become the order of the day nti empen bia no e kama say we were abaimwa ne kasa anko the opposition no e kasa anko but omunya soche powers are the language na say ya yiwe asema be we ano ndi ya yiwe asema be we ano and they all recycle the narratives back and forth what are the real issues emra the other emra na say in allocating the law yenyina yenim say o person o to ade a say me meti akodwa so akobusa omo ton no nipa biensa wo de yese na ma hu say oh we beton kenten ma me 10 cedis we kenten 15 cedis inti ebia kenten we no me pay we there that's where you open tender your procurement is transparent and how bet you are restrictive ebia antiama ni antiakosia pen the cover tomatoes free Burkina inti me pe tomatoes kenten a omo mienu pe na menya bf inti me ko antiama menya oboto say na makọ antiakosia menya oboto say that's restrictive tendering and I say him say jene there anti ya pe na o jene inti me pe o me ho na mepe inti in the anase ebia me penentem asembia me nya hoho de eba ne so me pejene enene chinaya de oto jene wo me nchen no eya maami we pe intinya afi na me kodwa so akobusa nipa miensa so in the provisions of the law this simple jedie I obi a o TV bi ate ase no is what is been reduced into brofo akese but it's common sense known to us for many years say eto da bia udi dwa nipa ba ko pe hobi na obetimi anya ade kro no esan say either say ono pe na wo sa ade kro no and say for the reasons of urgency ono pe enchen na ubenya ne ntem anamnam numu a ema nsem no njensem so that is what is provided for and I think Alaji mentioned section 40 and 41 of the Procurement Act. In this current context, what are the issues? And I think those are important questions. Mimi Susu said there is definitely something there, but Fourth Estate is rushed the conversation. Ms. Susu said, there's a real conversation to be had. But unfortunately, I think the conversation is being rushed. Inti, as a yapri who didn't come without, and we've given a lot of loopholes, and so you can defer it in a way so papa bia didn't come on you see. Eja minister, again, let's set the record straight. Here are need data be except for what the ministry has given.
No,
so we are all
what
please,
Fourth Estate
please,
has given.
please.
Ministry has not given any data.
Fourth Estate took the data
from ministry.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's
so that is what we have.
Please, let's not circle around.
No, that's what we have.
Let's not.
And it's 107.
The source of Fourth Estate information, no, and ministry.
Yes.
It's a ministry not information, ma. Fourth Estate. And the by so Akasa Fourth Estate. Ministry nkwa na data na. Say on information they give of this obi manufacture different data from my
exactly my point. Okay. Sebi, if I said, of course, if they had done a bit more work in say finding some data point to contradict, which is why sometimes investigations take a longer time, because I say, oh, I catch me cameras are that's a jacket and me cameras 5. Number I'm actually I'm finding my own data sources. I'm musaiche producers in order to put data out there. So me because I just see your cameras 5. Na cameras 5 no kwa kotofia se ho na ejaba because me beji data ni free eja ho no. It weakens my position right from the beginning. Into what I am saying is that first, I think that there's a real conversation to be had. But I think that Fourth Estate rushed the investigations without finding alternative data sources. Because they say, we all come back to ministry information. And you can't have a better source than the minister himself. Who says it in parliament? A parliament is a place of record. By the time of Obeko Parliament, I've issued 400 contracts with open source or competitive tendering. If he compares your 80-something you're saying to, he comes down to your about 44%. He defeats your conversation. Because again, on one case, Parliament, I catch you say, almost 100% of the we are 100%. I've not seen anybody challenge that data, for example. Or say, a contractor, me better under the ministry. And I've listened to the deputy minister, which is Ira Suhini, who categorically says, say 100%, on the crowd one can say almost 100%. Or say all the contracts signed under the ministry, under the previous government, were sole sourced, right? The point is, because we're all referencing the ministry data, let's get alternative data that is credible in order to have some counterbalance to the single source data coming from the ministry. That's the first one. And then they told me, say, ministry, they say no, or much they say contract no, either say road fund the bet your car, big push the bet your car, and as the government of Ghana would pay you. So a more year contractor, because of the funding sources, the contract either falls under big push, the road fund, or and the government of Ghana. And they are saying, say 23 of the contract, which was so sourced in the previous government, is part of the 80-something now you can watch them say no. But those ones, a contractor, which were already single sourced or so sourced under the previous government. But not contractors now in because now in Muka. It's no major go. And because that's how go on. And the big push, says Sikawa and the big push ninti. Say 23 contractors no. Nyafe na because on the Canada. Nyafe na oko bi mako ka say afa me penipa foforo be kwan 23 na ye di obi kaka dada no. Inti mo nipa 23 mombra. Let's sign a new contract at a big push, and for whatever reason and a new pricing quote, and then instead of paying you mobilization, say afa na munkoye jumano. We are novating your contract with new obligations, and that it seems to make sense to me. It makes sense to me, Agya. It seems to make sense to me. But the point I'm making is that the bigger question, then they say, "Who is 23 if you are?" How about the other contract? The other contract, are we really saying, said the agency of time, said you, or 4 years indeed, the process could not have been hastened through a competitive process? Because what you do is, you have when they say 23, we do no more year dada, and about dada 90 or moka. Inti, you've taken those contracts, and it makes sense. So my dikaya jumanu be inti, The new ones now, are we saying that we couldn't have found better pricing? And as we are saying that is the best alternatives we could have gotten. I don't have the competencies to answer those questions. But say I make her know. Mrs. Su say in Shushamuni, yeah, money see so that to say ni ama who coin I bebre. I would defer to trust the ministry because I don't have any other alternative facts which is heavier than the ministry. But Mrs. Su say kokobo for the party in power. Sebi yo scandal there. It appears to me say almost 1 year, 6 months in government. They have at least held power with no credible scandal, at least so far. It's a good thing because here in say MPP in its first year we had some considerable scandals, right? Into 1 year, 6 months with considerably no scandals, it's a good thing for the government. But more pray right? Because you say we are 4 years now, there are scandal, baby, but more pray on time because when we compete. As a way they know to do it's always a race to the bottom. Where you are 5, my 3, intermediate chair. That is not the kind of governance they've shown us they can so far. They should aspire for the best rather than a race to the bottom with say Momo 100, I 44. Into Momo Munsamaye. That is not the conversation.
Okay.
I concede. Said the numbers appear said they are better off, but we didn't vote for a government to race to the bottom. It's for the best governance for Ghana. Indeed, whatever the narrative is, for now, I don't have enough to say that there is a scandal or not because I don't think there is. But it's a warning, and I say I kokobo say you inso beba from a kind.
Yeah.
Bia yemma we nyam from ebema abaye to atna si ye akase yehwe ya akwa ye na nkoba say we are heavily courting some scandal of some sort because one here bia MPP might survive 5 scandals one here back on survive because again if you look at the trend of the electorate akukudro anase abotra one ase is waning over time until they shouldn't be in a hurry to court a scandal.
Right. For now no dey said dey beka no see a boy chire say anye bia contract near the mine no bia from Suhum to Apija Junction na nke say ye no ye tender na ko bia na dwen chire ba ya nke bia nke be no 40 cedis and so sourcing no ya in 100 cedis and 50 cedis na 70 cedis I do betumi aboa na fe conversation asan ko twehwe no akose dey say contribute say
I will be some questions in Panama no
that's
okay the route na road Mr. Wazima Baomia better than we inflate figures by 3% according to Auditor General's report, not just according to just allegation, but Auditor General's report on the road no Panama Bomote or 2 road. First one Asine Kropon good Edumase
Pantini no Orcasa no new roads are some of the work
Esibrem road Asine Kropon Odumase Esibrem road length about 22.18 kilometers contract value 54.26 million Ghana cedis. Second one Chiboso Hasowoze Bangalow Feeder Road length about 14.50 kilometers contract value 29.47 million as in Boma Obama 83.7 million according to Auditor General's report. If you divide 83.7 million by 3, that should have been the value of the 2 contracts into inflating by 200%.
So who inflated it? Okay, so it's a dream is when
1 minute 2 minutes on the figures about say it's mama also 2 minutes na Roberta do aye na me
Roberta dey say 2 minutes
your other topics be discussing into 2 minutes
because
my time che obi a so be share
there be na no correct
me pa cho
because me cry me time me ho
yo okay the 2 minutes
and me time will be because I know that I'm dealing with more than two people
2 minutes
okay so one and it's Baumia brother owo a resource access limited any company no was started up company in 2006 I was set up company no na Dr. Baumia enye flag bearer na onye even your friends saying running mate. That is one. Two is that in 2030 in 2013 under President Mahama and a company no enya ne certificate A1B1 certificate I just obit my year akwan akese nyina.
Okay.
In 2014, onya sole sourcing contract a year Sunyani Inner Roads 35 million Ghana cedi under Mahama. Again, or your friends say, "Oshe we na okan hwasem na." Baumia, any road minister, Baumia did not play any role in giving him the contract. Again, PPA approve all the contracts. Again, me no work say obi any who was standing trial on that.
Into onya contract no. Year ben.
Onya contract be busa na say on na.
Dem say na wo ka say onya contract.
Onya contract no. Eye adwuma. Ma kire contract
under which administration Mahama
under Mahama onya adwuma 35 million ah we Sunyani Inner Roads. Your friend there 35 million. Na enu see sole sourcing. Those days Baumia couldn't have influence for him to get that contract. And oh contracts be bree. Including the ono eka wasem. Again, obienu ha owo your friend say all standing trial for that. On two, and it's a woman 2 minutes. So let me just use my 2 minutes without you interjecting. One, and it's a Miniano say MPP time, first year, Omunian scandal. Contaminated fuel me boy. Cash for seats. Alanchramante eka home. Any others no. Sa 2017 no up to now. One who saw Adiano even in oral report. You manufacture scandals. Sami Jeffrey and the NDC manufactured scandals in 2017. To the extent that the Omoka say yes scandal in 2017, but and what even oral report. Not even a single one. Cash for seat, Alan the any moving pina, any normal Omoka and any. So you should understand that. So bit that baby no chantro eto biswa and no say a scandal.
Okay.
That is one.
Okay.
Two is that was say your friend saying time na was say your day Emma contract na be 2 years. You're talking out of ignorance. There's a lawyer sitting here.
No.
Make catch Alhaji Zero.
No.
They all can on tiasie. Okay. The zero can on tiasie. Want to say because
issue no can
contract competitive bidding. It take it between 3 and 8 months. No one really now. Between 3 and 8 months because of procurement. First look at between 5 and 8 months. One and say obey advertisement for 1 month. Now why evaluation of the tender document for 3 months. Now why award within 2 weeks. A check 8 months in the end. So I didn't think I work at times. I just say do 2 years and sign a team. Contracts were awarded in 2017. Again, what say many I say Sikabi Dahwa big push second in 2017. Atu forcing allocate 13.3 million Ghana cedi for big push.
2017.
Sorry, 2025. He allocated 13.5 million for big push. The contracts that were awarded in 2025 were 73 billion on so Skabe na da he.
Skabe na baby.
Na da baby. Let's Skabe na baby again. There we there
Agya
to be very honest.
T. Wow, shut time akasa ya 2 minutes.
The opposition
me ba.
So I was saying more time than them.
You take time sir.
Or what? Because wait. 2 minutes. Let me tell you also work.
I mean, the member said becomes having you no more and I mean the fact has been
because
the fact has been laid.
That is why it's very unfortunate.
No, I didn't do. I mean, obviously,
the point may work. I mean, to further prove my position. Say, Awa Mohammed, any MPP paying for Kasa, Yemfini, and say, make say na metimi ama litany of in some waka yen no kura bebre ba ko say ono anko ka say apenyo market replacement wo ECOWAS parliament no e ba dane asem no wo anje parliamentary approval and resolution at the Betuja say on the 22nd July 2025 parliament say a pass resolution to take that decision ba ko no but the tosu bi
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Me say one kada say apenyo marking ECOWAS parliament na okogina gu Ghana fo nyina anim ase say ye yi na efiri ho na ono ankasa de ne tumi ekotena ho one tena bibia ankasa apenyo marking ko no ko yi na we yi na efiri sa leadership of ECOWAS parliament and yet with parliamentary resolution one kada
they did that without the recourse to the minority. This is what I wrote.
Correct.
They didn't do that.
There was a resolution on the 25th
they only
of July
by
Parliament to take that decision. So that is the fact. On one kasa, Satawali kwaye the bibi obetra se kan sembebri ama ono ankasa twisaye
some section of their
credibility
that's my point. I think let me make this point just a minute, 30 seconds. The import of what I said in respect of Dr. Bawumia, contracting what I said was not about original contracts. And also
about the inflation of the price.
I am only also I only give you
inflation of contracts.
The kind of house
Minister for Mines,
I think MPP, and this is a very honest advice. You see, I think you can do a better job.
We don't need your advice. We
don't need your advice.
We don't need it.
Why do you want it? Why do you want it? They don't need it. The person said they don't, but we in NDC we need your advice. Can you advise us please? We in NDC we need your advice. We want to make this country better.
So Obi Kasa,
I'm representing MPP. We don't need his advice because addressing me because I am representing MPP.
Lawyer.
We don't need his advice.
That's your advice. That's your advice. We are
so Obi Kasa, my pentemu muaten. Onipa ne kana so mu wie a na se bia wo bibi ka na yaka. Na se etu onipa na no gban a na kama say ya presume so nipa na sa no beka no e bia say nete so bia na ntisa sabia ya ho no bia anya kwada enti no so bi ka bibi na sa nya ye nyina hu no kwa be fa so betinetene no mo bi nka obi kasa bo anhye de yam so obi be ka bibi na sa nya yi a metea me no kwa be fa so me handle na fa enti no manenka na sa mo beka no sabe opa na ofa opa wonfa ya 1 minute ni enko.
Say Mr. Sen come on make I say in common no 4:30 there ration no and there may be something there. The make a man question say you maka ofia paying opposition tenanko ena owo to me a net tenanko one who no me no tena different said you mini ano say on here my photo but me to aba right and I've said my election history. I've said it openly. I voted across aisles many times. I've said it openly, right? If you go to my social, there was a time I campaigned on social media for Nanado. I campaigned against them in 2024, right? The point is this: if you don't learn that there are people who are honestly objective, and any person objectively listening can tell that these people are objective, and you're in opposition and you carry yourself, you alienate people who ordinarily could have made their make a man could say, oh, opposition. Now one say, yeah, the dodo on the yeko. Now one who say, be more or more time will per se, but Omobeka no cry no dia to baby. now for who say media maswa me men e de me men be ye de me pa sabi ye nyina beto aba ye nyina aba no so ye wo ba akopɛ nti I can only
sakra nipa age sense hwe all right me dance ya we dia we na wanu sisi ai yemfa okay ye dia no bewie na yemfa okay mami
jan commode ai na wo pese
na kam say the school legal education reform makola ede nanka
ya fair no so because commode den here on slavery no nti ya fair no sorry na ye
should 5 minutes on this na fair slavery there no I'm sorry yeah edu baby no that come say law school no aye hu bi ye ka say obi komokola na say there who person okobia you see it as sebio obi office bi duma se na ne papa ye koko adwuma on don to be nkobi enso krofo akọ edu baby no na kwa say ebi no adwene say eye ekuo bi group of people bi and na betumi aye lawyers na sefo ene asesa ene ye benya kwan ama obi anka so so tumi kobi no enye say bia other institutions betumi so akyerɛkyerɛ they be wi ase no mokola no yetumi akobi bia fa mokola nko anya mu de North Carnation ne de ka council be ka ho we are lawyer ni sa na montui ebeboa yen se beboa yen okwan ben so se mo yen so a okwan ben so no okwan ben so kra de betumi afa na yetumi supervise institutions e ba mo ho nyina ho kwan say wo mo nche law yi
eja me da say actually, I have the bill here, and I've been pouring through the bill. I've been reading the bill for the last 3 days now. In common the edikai share numbers and valuation of the legal market. In common party, nipa bebre in common they say, oh, lawyers but also lawyers does one. Say law mu buono beba form.
Yeah,
that's the first conversation. Inti time mekaipa I remember some people did demonstration time almost entrance exam no almost for 123 I think 2019 or so 123 students and hona buha ni na piki because 1,800 people na train so no and na nipa 123 per and the pass that year. And so there were a big rampage about it. Omoko Parliament with petition and all of that. I remember very well. There's a video of Katie Hammond. I can't send me to the effect. Namun namo present moya lawyers. Namo ba juma bene ya kanebe. You know, and the logic of that reasoning is basically saying, say, like any market, it's demand and supply.
Yeah.
Into so supply does one. And you said the legal demand no in the way it should. Into the reason and they say and I say nipa be join and they say lawyers ne doors one born be bafom. Born be bafom so I hear na quality no so bafom because obia or lawyer I won fear there on cover lawyer or baby. And so lawyer won fear no be and so quality of legal work no e be na bafom. So that's the first level of the conversation. Now the second level of the conversation, then they say, on my biamuno, as many people are, or war who are kadie, ne war who nim there, and ne war who to me so osia bibiano. I also otimisia. It doesn't matter the quality, what the market outcomes will be. Send me war nim there, na send me war who are kanye, na me osika me de besia bibia. Any question bibia see me quite.
Yeah.
Emma Misia, there was a Misia. And so it appears we set the conversation between those dialectics or Brony Beckers, but I think it's a false dialectic. And yet Bakuni Num Como. I think it's a broad spectrum. I was actuarial science for my first degree.
Yeah.
And I made a master's in risk and finance. Worked in banking for almost 15 years. And then I became a lawyer. At the time I became a lawyer, I had a whole life experience doing finance. What I do now in law, which is basically risk governance lawyer, I can say the privilege of what I do, said very few people have quantitative background doing actuarial science, masters in risk and finance for years in 3 banks, insurance companies and pension funds, and now having the ability to do law. The perspective I gain, and I said, it's very different. And Mrs. Su said that is why we must encourage the law.
Okay.
Says Sebio, Yera or NIA, he has a background that very different and very varied. And Rande Kahua, if he's doing policy in NIA, send you see who no, very, very different
from senior new law.
Okay. It means also as many Ghanaians say Ofihi that can do law should be allowed to read the law. So that's my personal view. And you can say Mrabia see who quite say Sebio obi obetimi asu Mrabia onsu amra. The other point is that obia obetimi asu Mrabia onsu amra no enkyere say we would reduce the quality of the process. And I was telling a friend yesterday, say okay bill no carefully I hear this new process no. Ya hear ya be dia che say ya amanfo bi susu say be because now there's a national bar exam. So the bottleneck no say nyina ya force say be come makola. Nti sa bottleneck near ya fio the council will accredit institutions. Nti bia uko school or Legon be accreditation so be professional course no. Uko Gimpa, uko KNUST o munyina be accreditation. Na munyina ma kire mo mayemo professional course now were different campuses. Nama kwachire so here baako, which will then determine the obey lawyer, need your own lawyer at the end of the process. But because it's an independent school, no, said the makolani the baby lecturers no, and they control the process of coming out. Into the bottleneck usually our makolani say, yeah, come no, and Sunday so. But unya come now, okay, intene wuka krabia, ube so the funnel out is not as difficult, but to say no yayi ekom no bottleneck nephew. But why here na ye pie ni mo no na ho den. Okay. Inti I was telling a friend yesterday say bia ye nyina ya mfa ya ni hwe afi na started independent council the mimi susu sa outre so hwe no na say 1008 kotre ya 123 na pass year 2019 no. Mi susu said this independent council sa na omo be ye no. Iti ebia nipa 5000 na baka akotwe so he no mudro no se ne ebesi aye no wa he ya na ya peja quality ni mo a ya baka se nipa 5000 na twa ba nipa 500 na pass here. If it is really what it is, me assure says that is what it would become. Eja they make come na twa to and say ye nyina no minim say lawyer for nkomo different. And the reason why lawyer firm come are different, they say we try say ye peja ish in some move to issues rather than personalization. And usually your favorite Socratic method. Ye busa and send ye be hunu nsemase. Me who say Ghana ni bia etua say ye James Safa ebeboa o man kanyo. It even law I think that there should be some generalities of law. I was say a chere ewo school bebre. Senior Sebio, sir, Fako, sir, senior lawyer for Jennifer, no, a bit more say you didn't come out, we would be a bit more inquisitive, curious, and interrogative of matters. Into on the legal education, you remember in this for about so almost a ball and nobody so. I think that it is a good thing that they follow through the reform. I think the reform is good because Engosias no. Ebemo obi a owo ho kwan bia because say anya makola pe different accredited institutions it's nipa bebre betimi aya professional course no the ayabo mpa say the quality of the exam no so nte and in the end no lawyer for no mo be peer through the system no ye nyina betimi dey say
when the best set questions
oh there's a council the bill set out
no there ma institutions out do yes
inti I be say okotwe ACCA no enya wo school na be tire so hwe inti council no mo be inti every year omo be ka say ye tire so hwe no e bia June inti omo so hwe e fa oni school away or professional course wa register no akotwe o pass our pass one pass our pass until that is the system and they say no any ko say we no akotwe exam akomakola answer na wapie we are o school na o call na no so mo accreditation o mo di accreditation o be apply ko school e wa accreditation mu na wakoye o professional education no ho o ye wo ho we are na afi wakotwe the bar exam, the national bar exam through one of the council's exam. Then pass here. Sebi, there is also a practical education, about 1 year practical education.
I said national service.
Yes, I also call law firm judiciary as a clerk, and then move it to Ababe. So I think it's a good thing. NDC I follow through with the reform because let's produce as many lawyers as we can, irrespective of what people think the market will become. Because Sebi, so be who no nidibie. Sebi, ejuma meye nye obiana meye mano. But because of the nuance, the specificity with what we do now, nye sebi, no obiana beti me hire the air no. Inti, I'm sure say. Yeah, lawyer for near 10,000 and 10 million. Probably be who ni sibre.
And then we so be near afa. All right, me that say we lawyer intel ma kwantintin ma kasa tintin so ana say the be ya. Ala. Bo ko law di bi say the kwan mo bi.
Enwaro no.
Bo ko ho.
Ah, ye ko say. That's right. Yeah, because we here say obi bia sanya menua no e kasa ya no. Na e kire say e ma wo reasoning and I say I dream phobia, especially unam and I say we opinion we decania to me a dear with you and indeed major D because the washer abundant on the man Mahama a year 1 year what was sensitive positions in the baby sa law background because the navigating your way through to even understand what is going on within the whole constitution and your joke. And one of the key things are the law, because even in your attempt to navigate, you have to take decisions. And it will go a long way. Say, okay, this decision, if I take it, it is not going to harm the institution and also put myself and the credibility of my government into trouble. Papa media me say I was say yet was and indeed what shall say me no say you say lawyer to client ratio my Ghana about 700 people equal to one lawyer.
Almost 7,000.
Correct. So
almost 6,000 something.
To one lawyer. Now what shall the number of lawyers are actually out? Any 1 year one practice because lawyers need be one practice in any account. So clearly it tells you there is a deficit. Now that deficit, you better na ya breach sa gap because other advantage maybe they maybe say we ebet me at the Brian the decentralization concept. Say meet yeti hey na meti Tamale Bekai lawyer Ibrahim Mahama, one of the renowned lawyers in Tamale. Catch what he has to go through to become a lawyer. And our northern region or Tamale, and it's contributing immensely to the development of the northern region. Now, can some idea to become a lawyer? Any the circumstances are often just because I was all jabby beer or no fee beer or to go through and to become lawyer. It disadvantage a lot of people. Say a decentralization. I'm if you say this is one of the key reasons. The necessary decentralization about law jumana akonenim yes and so ebeboa ama competition because competition me say the quality neighbor maybe by Ghana na ye ni TV ye venzen editwi kasa na say the kasa na ye program na UTV ebem na mobile mobile pay setters and you establish the competition amount what now so because one year more way into also ye ni mobile ane me hwe TV station ni na wo local language version wo so atumi e attract amount so competition e ba me dey me fi say no so ebeboa ma bibia ko ni mi na ye wo bibi so e fra no global standard wo ye bibia no ne e wo man mu I was say we are mindful of the global standard. na one year sana ubeka ichiri because you continue to do the same thing wabra ewiase afare nyina no obi akonenim ejaw na sa global standards no actually people say there should be limitation to bottlenecks to the study of law. Any lawyer, any law ejuma ni yekeka ho na behwe sa global standard no so na na montua abawe atuno na kwa akobwa ama sa yemiti sa standards no globally. But you see ye kasa no so ma yenka enkosi ne sa keke ezanse emra ejuma no ejuma ehia papa endi yabesre se ye koyenim no standards ye ewo makola no ye be maintain no obi biara ye betimi ye bie sa law schools no standard no very very critical mami na ya sanso the quality no ye gina so and making sure say the quality remains the same and yes say ye timi bie gina obi akeke na wotumi abeye na wasori akọ. Let's maintain the quality because law ejuma na to say doctor and as a surgeon because life and as a destiny ekura obi nsem. It is a quality no and yes standard na bibia na wo de wonim say asemesi ye lawyer wa kofa no na wasem yewu wankodi ni ye na say wa kodemu ni ne ekeka ho na asanso me de meka say the licensing regime no moma ye nhemukina na ye mo say a lawyer for ye ku bi a wo mo ye bibi kakra bi pe na obehu say ye betwe waso kase ne ekeka ho the licensing regime no amane ye de bad ne kra no moma ye nka say emre bi ba ye wo man mu ha a lawyer for a sign send ya no man city no edi ye hwamo kase oh my Ghana. Within this fourth Republican dispensation, you use so constitutional. A lawyer for one kabom kuo. Constitution is mbra. Womu muni mbra. Eka say womu ko. A constitution you use fourth Republican constitution you use. What do you say Ghana Bar Association for? Womu a lawyer for one kabom kuo ba ko pe ana ye wono. Womu ka say womu ko. Ampara so womu anko. Woman up to today obi antumi aduce any reasonable reason woman anko with the exception of the fact to say Rollins and na do sana mo no nti woman konkoboa Ghana and ye boa nti say ne competition we aba me gidi say ye koye ni mu no ala awa obi ni mo so beka say ai sa ne ahwe ya ye be nya lawyer for bebre nti obo Ukraine was massa content. Wow, actually, those days, Ruba,
it's a phone who come out the doors.
Actually, yeah, because I be my lawyer for not dorsum. And you share the quality, no, you between your quality near share no. Then come say, Nipa no move be now, fair, be your hobby. Would you say then you be na ma standard near one and no, and my from. Na mo ne bejira bibieja na sabe kosoro
yo me da se eja I think say sa emrana e call parliament no in 2024 almost all the political parties ejitu mu say o say ebiem but the kwan ya ifa so ebiem no
na ya asem
for eka the omo kan na ene omatimi aye but just before that no consultative assembly I dey call you no mpenifo na e da no na omo ye members of Ghana Bar Association. Dana Susubribi Krobia Sante, who a lawyer, he's the first black African to be the lawyer for a World Bank. But when Nana Eda Noa, a dictatorial constitution, Ghana Bar Association, I can say the composition of the consultative assembly, no, Omumpe, and Intinama Omanko, because Omu say, yeah, the immunity Bema Rollins. Now, why true to the words, Rollins got all the immunities, there I see in the 80s, you know. Yetimi I can say untimi entry so because of that. It's in the constitution and it's in our Ghana Bar Association anko and they were justified at that time. But on way no the ma asem no kran be ya asem bebre lawyer Eddie Kanka say tembia no ukowura law school edin crofo control exams na ebia pass kakra bi na o ma pass na o makọ but the ma ade no call kese pa ye 2019 di para o mo control ye no 92% faili it will fail na you see hey Professor Kwaku Asare ona edi kan eye sa advocacy ne pa say yembiem na nipa bebre e feel say adentina doctor for say wo yare a ona rehwe wo ne na keka ho yeni sa impediment ne wo ho nurses yeni impediment sa wo ho police ne na keka ho but lawyer for nko ade wo bisa first question wo bisa lawyer so adentina say ayete say occult to be cool kitwe bi ogun bi omukwa na wo say omuko so eno no eduru be ho no ohwe between 2019 and 2024 nipa eko exams na omu faili 10600 omu ko exams a omu faili keke 10600 eno ehu hia se e wo se anka ebiem nti yen na ya adwene se
what year are you talking about?
Compare from 2019 to 2024.
Right. So
yes, because we say omukwa omo the numbers in the body omo fairly back me kan nyina bom na 10600 and omo fairly up to today ah omo tifia na nka omo se omo pese omo ko read law no omo ntimi anye so yen ye hu se yen biem but not the NDC full kan say bia yen bie no na obia enye bi yen ye kan se anka yen si law village I started here a UPSA and Chenho. I can say bit my funny part 2000. I the ama contract no was according to a Dennis at law. Cause by company no Jumano edrube 70% and Asana e free a year abemo. Again, you can say expanded already satellite campuses like Kumasi and in a Keka Hunanka etimiaye. But then this if you can say there be Omubeye no senior ye no land in a pepe. So that at least be beam am obi etimaye the omadi abai any the input of the minority because we know anya resistance be from the minority yin na ye kabo mu ehu se yen fashion na yen ni nti we no omodi aba no de pa eno kire se obi bia obe sua LLB bia opese obeye lawyer ni ye colony bia no ekwan bia so obe chekra na obetimi aba enkane no ukọ law school na ukọ na uremu kra wie no feel be 3 years e be yiwadi obetina betina fe but we need there on be tro exams no January any June eno no say no instead of entrance exams it tro exit exams nti we sua de no na faculty no say ye ma mo accreditation say on betimi ato aso aye sa eye law professional course na on be ye for 1 year na wakoye sa pupillage no for 1 year that is practical no we na obetro exams in January nti wo tro na for papers no otro na utimi pass miensa na aka ba ko June
botumi atro ba ko no
ashe obi wo hokra na obeka say civil procedure kwa na metibi atro in January
ntimetwere no
na wasua no kwa okwa na ofeli miensa but na wa win we June na wa ye na ode no ato aso na ode awi so eno ye adepa and again ohwe eye de free mu na ama sese no as the myth around eye law no free hokra say na okan no looking at his rich background to say we say why is intro juma over time it is a ene person ukoye lawyer juma usually omo ye century juma omo koye lawyer omo excel chain other people Egbert Febel Samson Ladi ayenene ye kan lawyers na omo ka ho because omo ye century juma no ekodru na asa enye den endema enfama omo so we no aboa ama access number me just some few challenges with the law because my kind law no almost bibia umubia at normal bia se but me who some gaps bia me feel say me and only me only challenges with
as time goes on you between yes
bako and say o share sa legal training council na board na omo ebe hye exams na omo aye regulation because say general legal council and ebe hwe mo lawyers no omo ko training no we mu and ebe throughout the training no conduct omo say ama governor de no hwe law no akova na kama nti say o churchro no ma basabasa bi o social media na wayi enya wo pass exams kran dey throw to the bar and no the law has made the provision for it in the kika but idea ba kwa we say omo ebeda board nanim a regulate no nipa mako 5 president na be appoint wo. It has nothing to do with Dr. Ayini. What I said because NDC for lose elections in 2029 now. aye ne be free so na yen attorney general na betena so but wo hwa nipa maako enum out of 11 aban na ebe appoint omo and the chairman of that regulatory the attorney general
okay
ono so be appoint nipa miensa e de aka ho
tena saka nipa miensa
na nipa baako de me ka say oba appoint nipa miensa as aban de no say ono be of aban na ministry of education de nipa baako aba na ono so ka ho 5 na law school no omo government de no aban de no na omo so appoint nipa baako teacher baako aba na we mo so private for so appoint teacher baako aba na Ghana Bar Association appoint nipa maako emiensa abeka ho omo so we say we lawyer we adwuma for 15 years ade baako a me hu say gap ewum baako ene say manhu SRC because students no oko public university bia o Ghana ha students are represented at the council say na be ya say bibi ba na say about students onu wonchiremu bebre ono so bibi wo ho aye bia ye tia students a obetimi aye ade baako a mo de kan ho a me de ne say first no omo ko entrance exams no eno kra de sa law no me minti ho abakosem wo ba bia kra da wo ko entrance exams na o twira undertaking say minti me nkore marking timi kwa bi ohwa na wo
say be wi amare
sa law be lawyer control be wi amare sa no me but we no emra we e de abase ye wo eye obetimi akore marking
okay
so wo ko by exams na wo feel say me ma pass nanso ya marking yi because of your politics and I say bibi e wo ho a ubitimi akore marking ukore marking na external people be remarking na edwaba so these are the things that me feel say if you are going for this a new law aba you just a president assentia omo feel say by September kra na o start there
starting in September
the only question me be say so existing faculties in there omo ebetena say because I did not see that your first we know within the law existing for no Sebia Central University Wisconsin in the Kekon on beto as why because omo meet regulations no na you know
once na ban
professional there be say professional course in the say no omo ebe hwe say Wisconsin edrua
no
na omo de ama omo na omo timi aye omo hwe omo infrastructure eno omo normal any teacher for omo kira de wo ho ene say nso kura no exams ni nyina no council no University of Ghana na ultra exams and no be no Wisconsin because and only a unified that betimi aboa this is something I hear good news for the country betimi aboa ama because when say o hwe ye manifesto you can say legal aid board no omo eno so uko district bia e bi ni ho nti o hwe 2024 manifesto you can say anka ye wini ya anka every district ye be appoint lawyer baako na waye adwuma o legal aid say obi enya bibi enya problem e woni kuruma obetimi akọ legal aid na aban na atua lawyer ni ka na ma na education na waboa no ne keka ho ene bibire ni ho ko mi kuruma science afijase legal aid ni ho so we no ebe boa to lawyers no do so a bibire so benya adwuma ye because by 2029 na Dr. Bawumia be president sa de no o de ebe bra bishim into 275 constituencies ni nyina no benya lawyers on be adwuma ho
ebo law school na be kon na ha e gba ma osiri ya na
law school have a few things to say too
you check money and we are I mean some okay yeah I want to concluding part no but the whole thing is that I think it's good say there all these professional bodies in lawyer Kasembi because of the issue of demand and supply and value and all that, price and all that, normally we restrict one profession in terms of will produce so that I remember one popular question that we used to have in economics: why do doctors earn more than they will mention another profession, or why do lawyers earn more than they will mention another profession? And it's all about demand and supply. So they normally want to restrict entry so that they will produce less and so to have higher value in terms of on charges now. Now with this, I'm happy there. Now there's going to be expansion. Certainly, if you have more people writing exams, the likelihood that more will also come out as lawyers, will be very high. In terms of expansion, good. I think apart beyond expansion, now it's going to be merit based. First, who you know. I mean, let's say it as it is.
That's true.
Who you know. To become a lawyer, you need to know some big man who knows somebody so before you can become a lawyer. Now it's going to a certain degree. I'm not saying that. Yes, I'm not saying that it was general.
But even if it's not so, that is the general perception.
Yeah.
No, it is even so.
It is even so. Yeah, it's even so.
But
the Munkama se muya meka.
Yeah. So and by this time, I think it's going to be more what you know. What you know, go and write the exams. Like all of us wrote those things, Go and write it and pass. It is good. But you see, let's not end it at law. I think we should look at the medical education also. Let's reform that place also. Because we need more doctors as well. We need more doctors. So let's look at even the way I remember, first, necessarily call a medical school. I don't know the situation now. Ecoteka, essentially ecoteka, you go straight to medical school. Yeah. But I believe yes, justify your inclusion. Into some of the people know, or prefer to take trade. Yeah. No, even Mr. Oba, or Pedro prove the winning. Into Oba, why disappointed? Because Oba one day, this
second year, assistant course.
Yes, who you know now, it was difficult. But I have one person, I will mention his name here because he's a friend. And Osaz in Italy, Tech started medical school. Then he stopped. And he came to do justify your inclusion. Legon. Then he passed. Do you know the person? Mystic. MP, or Ashanti region. Are you a free?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he turned it upside down. Of free tech, but yeah, justify your inclusion. Yeah, and he went through. Okay. I mean, it was a friend. We were in school together. Yeah, we were in school, secondary school together. Okay. And also Legon together. So that is about. Not only that, you see, reforms are meant to solve problems. So this one is to solve the problem within the legal, fraternity. Yeah. What about having a reform in education system? The whole education system, having a reform about solve the unemployment problem. I mean, for me, that is my headache. JSS, my family, you produce one your wholesale. Most of them know about SS. Or by SSR, wholesale, most of them were about university. Into every year, just imagine more farmer with university, what about job market? The jobs are not there. So there's always this problem of huge numbers unemployment. Gradually, in fact, it's already a national security issue. I believe there, young share between JSS to SSS, it can be continuous. But between SS to university, young pay 1 year being she baby. And I say, a farmer training apprenticeship. Like 1 year compulsory, you have to learn something before you go to the university. In the moon, if you are all your 1 year or master will be one, go university immediately. Do you get the point? And now from JSS,
like going back to the JSS concept.
Yes,
the concept from size 4 to JSS and it's apprenticeship.
Yeah, you learn something. Then from JSS, let's begin to teach our children entrepreneurship should be a topic from JSS, SS, and the university. Every course you are one for entrepreneurship. Because if you go to your school, the first thing in the whole school, I should prepare any CV. Or your school and your application letters to go and look for a job. The jobs don't. Your jobs don't there. So why don't we give them be training office school by no? Say bibi no botana. No, when you see a corner for the water no about for someone. No, obi nejuma no na nkasa de ye nejuma. It's a way of reducing unemployment. The entrepreneurship should not be a course for only business students. It should be a course across. Course be piano. So there are people who did not go to school at all, but they are big time businessmen. So it means you don't have to be a business student to become a businessman. So let's teach the children when they are young to have that mentality there. Also the mankasama yem bibi minina mankasama employ mo na me yem amejuma. Several times I go China. some of the people are what to do. Watch now one shop or what? I tell you, auto kiosk. Auto kiosk, yeah, it's a bit of way. No, if you want to, oh, fruit juice not. It's a machine to get no small. Why she sending fruits na aze? No, what BB? Why you on ice? We break ice even was a gum. Check was that more. We label fine. What packaging fine? And instantly was that more. And it's a good business. I'm saying there are a lot of other businesses are able to me actually from day one. So only no, so education reform. So the generality of it also.
Okay.
In a way to solve unemployment.
Me that say. Yeah, well, about 10:27.
Let me quickly respond
for 2 minutes.
Andrew Kra. I think, sir, it's important to say, sir. I think, sir, you know, on the governing council, he's correct that there are 11 people. Of course, like many appointments, all of them are appointed by the president. But it's important we say the Attorney General is a chair who appoints one other person. 3 reps are appointed from the Ghana Bar. There's 1 rep from the Ministry of Education, 1 from GTech, 1 teacher from public accredited institution, 1 from private accredited. There's 1 retired judge, and then there's a registrar general. Which is the council.
The registrar and the retired judge is appointed by the president.
I'm not doubt.
Yes,
of course, all of them
so,
are appointed.
The lots of split heads here because the same thing I'm making.
Yes, but I'm making the point to suggest, instead of, unless the point is to say, the president shouldn't have cause to appoint it, because even these nominations will go to the president anyway. Because if you look at the subsection in the main clause, all of them goes through the president.
Yes,
okay. That is not. That is not in doubt.
Okay. Institutional representatives.
Yes, but
more.
But I like what you said there. Okay. You should have student representatives.
Yes,
NUCs.
So,
yes. Yes, that's
true.
So,
so that's the first point I'm making. But the second one is that I think he also said something about the standard of accreditation. If a school does it, I think that the Act actually provides a detailed requirement for accreditation. The section 9 is quite clear. School accreditation, the process for accreditation. That is actually well laid out. I think those are the 2 things.
Yeah, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You 27 minutes in Ebekasa. Now you 3 minutes are up. It's a reparation, repatriation, and my pay my hammer. Waba. Waba. And I'm phobia. Sate kasafa home. Say who here who say me say I wouldn't want to go to be a senabe or chinebi and come say alaji man penny and more to ye let me say what kind history what you say na time pa e bibi anke say didi nipa baya umwa yewi ena sisi bibi etise ya kwakoba okwamba so na didi say sa ade abai ye betumi anya so mfaso as before Africans 5 minutes or 5 minutes
well they can anya so mfaso because the mfaso anya no and say amasa nyina kabom ku United Nations bibia to say to say if you are happening nyina no ya dia to mu ene say ye die hamo na ade ye ade esi ye no eye ade papa na am say no so na o hwa afiti ya la nanum akon mu kon ya be pimane na ye pese ye gitumu say okay ye di kan no kra because nipa na anja ntumu say medu hwamo ana say medu boni ana ne kai kana because o kana say nti ape ya gi atumu say o dodo ano na anase obi a gi atumu no because o hwe wo mo abstaining ye ne miensa wo mo boti against ye wini wo mo na ye say dodo democracy ye dodo no ne dodo no beka no na eye ne wo ho
wo mo etutia ne wo mo anto no ka bo mukura na ye che wo mukura no 50%.
Correct nti I push na obia say mpenyimfo bebre fiti time memorial wo mo push ne His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Breso otimi edi akọ ama yade atumu say boni bi esiya na enye boni a esida ewo nipa abakosem ene say ye befa ye nuanom ye nananom ɛkɔ ɛkɔasumu a saa akɔasumu no ɛboa ma ahohoro bi atumi gyinae indeed wohwɛ abakɔsɛm no mu a most of the industries a wɔn atumi survive a bie Europe ne Americans ne bebree no yɛ nuanom yi a wɔn kɔ no nso wɔn de nyansa yɛ soronko kɔɔyɛ wɔn de ahoɔden a yɛde ɛbɛma ɔman no mpuntuo no kɔɔyɛ nti ɛyɛ biribi a ɛyɛ nea ɛwɔ hɔ na yɛbɛda His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ase sɛ wɔtumi pushia de akɔsi ebiɛ na mmom nea aka no ɛyɛ nea ɛbɛfiri mu aba sɛnea yɛbɛka no na sɛ ɛsɛfata sɛ yɛbɛnya ɛho mfasoɔ bi a yɛtumi nya matie obi te sɛ Professor Yanka a wɔn nso ɛde to dwa sɛ one of the things a wɔn wɔhwɛ sɛ ɛnɛ yɛagye ato mu yi ɛwɔ sɛ wɔn hwɛ na anyɛ hwɛ koraa no sɛ biribiara koraa mfiri mu ama ɛka amanɔnefoɔ yɛdi wɔn no ɛwɔ sɛ wɔn tumi atwa so na akɔyɛ sɛ mpata anaasɛ mpatadeɛ o sɛ yɛka sɛ na wɔn de apata yɛn na biribiara ayɛ fɛ mmom matietie ebi nso bi nea medɛ no kɛseɛ no sɛ start yɛ no mehu sɛ MPP-foɔ nso kaayɛ sɛ ɔpampanyin Nana-Addo atu saa na mo ne bi kɔkeka nsɛm in similar lines yɛbɔ n'aba so ɛyɛ ɔno nko afiti Kwame Nkrumah mbrɛ so bɛpem nnɛ obiara raise such issues ɛnɛ ɛna yɛtumi enya ɛho ɛmfasoɔ na nea me nwa kɛseɛ ɛma me ho twiri mi ɛbu maba mu ɛyɛ sɛ yɛkɔ yɛn parliament na yɛkɔnya minority leader wɔno na dwen mu deɛ sɛ ɛyɛ aban bi anaasɛ aban no ɔwɔ so no a wɔno yɛ opposition etu anamo a ɛwɔ sɛ yɛ oppose and mepɛ sɛ me use akwanya wei ɛka kyerɛ ɔno ɛne wɔn a wɔdwen te sɛ wɔno in your attempt to oppose in a democratic dispensation when your only reason for opposing an action is what is detrimental.
What's
to
the correlation?
Then, na wonso waka one year wodi saa boni ni because one year wodi saa boni no asɛm a waka ne say oh ɛna ebibifoɔ ka ho bi ɛna yɛyɛ ebibifoɔ ka ho bi ɛna etwi asɛm na bɛpem na wo enti sɛ wonso asɛm aba na sɛ woko ɛnyɛ bibi keke o yɛn parliament house of record wogu yɛ ni ma sekɛseɛ.
Well, legi say Boniface num so tete wom ne de enya kwampa so no motete wom na ense so mo ye omo sa
correct na emom ono so gi tumu sania woni a wodi yenhwammo no agi tumu se yen krofo ne bi ka ho enti pamuno twamno yen nyina na ka bo mu
no repatriation.
I mean that is what it means. Enti me ameti hey why won't I be disappointed? It is say who opposition oppose ya. That is the only option for you. There is also over taking the stand now. 1 year would be and 1 mono take it. And clearly, and my major 2 more net men by yini and answer me ni ho and Mariana Yananum airport putin. Me ni ho and Brana Kwame Nkrumah Kase the UP and its elements, you know, were against effort and not oil, but a net. Afenyo marking and amuntu otu ye ama me hu ne say yampa say because ono ne nananom a ye UP fo no na ye kan kɔ ye fa ahodie ani bibia e sign say enye omunipa na ye nti ye nka nto bibi anu hia na ye to akwaso mu nti bibia me dey disappointed. I'm very very disappointed.
All right.
Especially Uncle Gina simpie bi so na kan ya I mean, I would even give him some, but Ojina Parliament House of Record. Adi aya man, same bebre, atwa bakra de bo Ghana who ban abaso. Say why adi? Say what to me akodum pepe. My share mini anum na Jaya for my share mini anum Kenya for. Woman nyina bo Ghana for abaso. Na ya minority leader.
Okay.
Oh sorry, I work as I say. I mean, very
me that say awa said the large canny. Tina Yante minority leader Sintina Mancobasa. Yes, and some nina nafi fire no so one sona yanko. Okay.
So asema minority leader a kind one cassette. Sa abanye bibia e was say oppose. This is a some now kind in yenokre. They are large na zero can wahano and yenokre.
Okay.
One can say abanye bibina ye opposition there was say oppose kra. Debi oya de pa ye som emane ye. To say legal bill. Yina na kabo mu na ye. So but abanye na de ba e kan mu manifesto. Any manifesto sa but ye.
Original parliament record of parliament.
Video no he spoke for 7 minutes on this legal you know. That is one. Two is that enyo no nko there are a lot of lawyers na omokam Austin Bracco powers kraka. Say at the time na slave trade cost na illegal na illegal. You remember it started from slave trade about transatlantic trade in a keka ho na enye illegal. Sana na omokan but yenye enu nyina mfiri ho. Ni nyina ne say tama na eye omobaye no. The omobaye a omobeye ye first one ni say omobre ntoma any tuo ene ensa a eno ena yedi ekoko amongst ourselves na yakochi nipa wo wa honde pa ena de ne ba na ya koton no northern sector ho salaga tie de no ko salaga ho na yedi chi agu no kom na yedi bi agu ne nan na wanante from salaga ba Cape Coast ansa na yedi naba so eno kire se omofa the cream de la cream of ye ya onti ye nya tente kakra kra de na eno kire se na wona no na baby a wo no na nya asam ketwa so na Africans no na omo ye stoutly built a omo ahoden obi abetimi na antifree salaga wood chain egu ni komba akugu ne nan na wanante afiri hwa ba ha so ekwan no so nipa bebre wi ansa na omo bedru again obedru ya omo fa nsuo no so no baby a omo ko ya de omo ko US ni nyina no any some other countries ni nyina no na yi chain no egu omo ko mu na omo ko ya omo build those countries no ema countries ya de ye fact say in 2022 and Nanado started kan ho asem the first draft I dey call AU ema AU egitu mu say yenye bibisa na emwa na yentimi table emotion ewo UN no na on the 20 September 23rd 2023 ewo February 2023 ewo Addis Ababa President Akufo-Addo na submit sa your friends draft decision no na decision the decision on building a united front to advance the cause of justice and payment of reparations in Africa and omunyina ejitumu on consensus tama wo yes ha de no na empanimfo biti oman mo obi te se Professor Jampo na TV3 ekan se Akufo-Addo pese okogisika ebe say no oman
no ono na sawo na waka
ena me say okan again your friends
no wo yine ho ano
again your friends Vomawo ye de no ko bi no ono so Troy ono kra de he admitted on his Facebook page say ampa na normal Akufo-Addo ye ya oni ne nyaadwen nyina no we no ampa na oni ne nyaadwen na so indeed aba eno etimi so they acknowledging the fact that Akufo-Addo started something oko UN 78 UN assembly eko kan the same thing but na in motion. It was an address I was say or address here or can you say it was say omujitum say the omuye ye no omuye e boni kese tia ye bibi man esa so omu sesa ye nkrofo na ko build omukuro no e ma ene omukuro no ye de etie no enti omujintum say ampa omaye boni tia ye na se e was say omu ye compensate here na oma compensate here. One thing I me commend Okujeto Ablakwa on and say even throughout this period Okujeto Ablakwa never spoke against Akufo-Addo on this. It is not only the roadmap or to committee of experts in 2023 later part December it Akufo-Addo na the champion of reparation ABC Mahama so President Mahama started all the work in terms of yede motion no econo within the 2025 omukoya ene yede motion no ekoya ene yetimi anya ade ba kwa ewumpa ne say I listened to the foreign affairs minister and I think say me ne ya adwen enye say bia ye kogisi bi efiri omo ho but say omo agi tum kura say omo ye bone atia eye abibiman no eno ye one. Two is that say ehu hia say o say omo e compensate ya ye hia say omo bebre iska but e car eda ho na eye omo bisia omo di amaye e wo Africa ha no e na o say omo hwe na omo at least eye firi ho na say bia ye nso ye ko na ye na omo e ko ye trader sa unfair advantage na ewo ho because of if you're African no ma ye no nyina efiri ho se na be abiti ma we nyina no ye boy nyina abaso esanse Ghana ena di kanya afa ahodie Ghana nso ena Fourth Republic ekura no ye de no ena eda so ye robust up to now ena say yes I akọ champion ama eye abrofo ate ase se omo ye boniti a ebibiman na ewo se omo pataye empata no enye necessarily ska but there was some pattern how much too US I can so munya because we advance normal na US for kan no eno na ebia afenyo markings eti ho kakra because US can say the enti ama mututi a ene say tama na omo yes ade no na enti amra bia eno nti na ama omo nso etuti a say ene enye bia because na mra that time say
ba ho be hia sanka no kokasa na se bedwom
yes but
say America for kan ti mi so meka bi
Debbie say your friend say nya wo na obekere no de okoka e wo
maybe some say
America no as the minority that feels that was say wo chirem na Ghana for nyina ate ase say that time na easy no Ghana for na e chinkrofo ko abroni no onko ba bia enkoche slave akwa bia ni ho abroni koche ne ba bia
no
baby
it's not
Ghana for na koton e ma
yes there were raid parties but
I read history and political science my first degree and I know this for a fact transatlantic slave trade no omudi tuo no ba ye no okọ hante na okọ ko na wafa nipa wo ya hode na odi abana wa beton sana omu ye so Ghana for na ye Africa for abibiman for ye ko na ye fa nipa no se oye ye friends say akwa ya koton e di ama brofo no sana ye and that's the fact
ebo eja afanyo micro wan kase penyin nkasadam say was a penyin zebi was a mo na say kasa o say da kakasa say nyimpa tan na wotewa nyimpa du na wotewa manyim munum anan enum akono that is 9 one kada pepe wa kasa ye nam akumpon kada an kasa ye penyin nkasadam so slave trade no a very emotional issue
it is
say I wanna ka bi wa ha what the chain bugun ko fo won kwem na aze no was aba mpada me bisa ibenambra at that time no ho ma slave trade no crowd o ye ibenambra na no ho abafo ben even law no wo be ya o ma yempanyefo wo signing a ona mo ndamuti slave trade no crowd afenyo market ogina parliament o kaze orken sabe ya inyimede urban civilization enyiboy a ebi nanyo boy ansa no bi nyo boy nti wona wonyo boy ntama no we take advantage of that no we see you know
catching
nti yempanyinfo no odu be bi na se dem azin oto wona oya ro hosama o se ye ka nyankasa ya dwunu kurichi to say there and mo no ye tu ya sisa United Nations we asa for no nya waja atum there oya slave trade bonen oya bone kase tie nyimpa adam bone bi mponsi da na say wa mo opportunity to speak for parliament as the leader of the minority na the massem na kaza is right on fortune. I've told you Afanyo is a friend. I mean, he was my junior in Togassens. I was one of the few people who inspired him into politics. And see, so Kasado okay, so by and the same floor, no apologize to not only to Ghana but to Africans.
Me sure work as a crowd to say some process, you know. I shall say if you
want
to
na kufa do time no shall say
na mampena na do no so yellow yeni a woni mu oba ya bosam enti sade na nya de anka ye emra wo ho anya de akani a anka mampena na do be hu say ne bresan kwa na start so ye hu bibi
so anka say Afenyo should come and apologize that or you misplaced when you misplaced that it is never a misplaced action or priority or a very important issue also there you can want some na me meze nkofo kan okay reparation in other form whether just apology will be enough or maybe compensation restitution go be ko mo for wazi bro oh as am fair no muntum mon quantify muntum nhwa wo ntwa wo ka na mo de mo be hye wa nan ekwan bi ala ya be fodo sisala wa jatum to the yenya foundation to make any further or to take any further action be anybody you take nti ameze oyaze papa nkoma na ma awa na sha ase kana masem bia na obi nkoma na ohya ase ohye bibia ase dam da oje fa huzi me bibi mani nyina yo bete yechi na ya kwa abaso ama that make the same country called Ghana yala Black Star ya yetum ya champion da mazema ibiaza fa nyina waja to oyaze papa na mu ma me mezenye de abofu ayakayaka za wazi ye he na obofa ye ne japaze na obofa ye nkofo won ho yezen na obofa ye sika nyina wazi krai no what krai na chi no ibe na aze na yan kasa so ya ye tie yen ho as nkofo ebibifu abofu no betisi no once what so many years ago what have you also done to ourselves as a continent even as a country politicians are we busy ebibimano do and we busy amana do no ibe na aze na wa ya ma won nkrofo a enda menyu kase mbofa ba na onye mponchi na onye na nchi onye onu nsuko after so many years bonyi bisi sukro you know I was used to some nkrofo ma wan kwoti tu me so bosekam ezugwan education agboti body investment man nkrofo na comes one ma ebinu po oso na pa onyim zo beza na ma bonyi ni ba ye ti hen na ma woro yen nsusu o menya abaze into behia the matches are here for reparation no yen share within one how can we still push for this unity of United Africa this concept of United States of Africa how can we and two individual countries how can our leaders also lead in such a way there at least say how is who come beef and I will come beef from Minyampa mama wure mbom atasa yes so how is who a bacon it is who ham it is who the man so me na mkati mama mbom only mentality also that African leaders inya because nkwosomen ye fam the picture of nkwosomen so onye ye fewa mama mezi ye nkrofo ye nkrofo wo fam na hia doko nkrofo wunyi nsu nom obi so onyi muzezibu na obezi no so soro hoyen it was the view mo anaso what to abo was mo na se be yo mampanyin anaso e be minister na e be bi no o position bia dream wona wo fam no ho na yaza mfoso bobo won amadam nkrofo mankwoti man fasika na ewi ngwan ka tena baby anaso sika efa nkwa se investment mo outside sika no po when invest no hampo na ebianya adwuma waye wo fasika no wie ya na wo da ka sha brochi abaka ya sani abacha owi Nigeria na wo se this sika wo Switzerland bebre Nigeria so atwa there was this kind of baba not only ono African leaders na wo wie sika was catch abrochi mostly Switzerland na other parts this is what discover this Cayman Islands the Guyana na this is one of the screen akwakwose na say
na omdi develop ho
was it develop was it invest was it create jobs for her na yanzi a commerce it's young Jane there reparation is good let's fight for what we can get
okay
but ensure within to also develop ourselves.
Me that's yeah. Simenu sansemu yi wo se kane no wo kan history books na ya no mo twetwe o mo draw nipa de gum se de o mo si baby o mo fire ne ahotwero ko wo ko Cape Coast Castle me makohoda
ya wona me finje wona me fi
ko Cape Coast Castle wo hwe baby e de o mo fire ne de o mo ye o mo bibi je se edu baby a wow je se wo kra na se na ho kra fenfem ha ebo kasem sisi ya kwese brodo wa na de ko na wunia no wo ho na wo ye de wadi ni ka so okay kwese brodo abi sisi ye ko de ya de o wachi wo so hwe chi na wunia ni di no yes how do we even treat ourselves
jameda say nkomo we won ehun hia me pa like anybody who has followed me from university days knows I'm extremely passionate about black race. And I'll say something. I think I wrote about it once, Mitch. When I was in UCC, the current vice president was the vice chancellor. They actually appointed her when I was in level 300. And at that time, I was the founding president for Actuarial Science Society.
Okay.
And I may send the email to her personal email at the time, because she had just been appointed, that we should set up a student leadership program. And I sent a proposal. I didn't think she would respond, but she responded to my email. And our proposal said, book me. The first one was How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. And the second one was Fritz Fanon's Wretched Earth. Those two books. Me kind books I was in level 4, we were just about to. Me kind 2 books I remember named Ninkomo. Of course, she knew said there was no way I could finish reading the books before I left. But I haven't met her ever. But those 2 books, when I was in university, I finished university in 2009. It became an understanding of some of the things we went through as a people. We are motion in the resolution. There's a second part of the resolution that all the debate going on excludes that part, which is racial chattel slavery. It's a transatlantic slave nepal. The core of the issue is racial chattel slavery. Let me 4 pillars of that system. It was a legal system where bibini a property, bibini nye nipa, bibini ye say
A fiddy or the year.
So it belongs to the exactly. So it's a chattel. A chattel, yeah. And yet it's inhumane. The first one is the fact that nipa it's mere property of another person, right? The second element is it was purely racist. To become a chattel, you just needed to be black. And yes, what dream? It had nothing to do with anything. So legally makes you a chattel of the slave master. And the third one is that the area woman say it is inheritable. It is that me sebi was enslaved. Yeah, before me fear by dint of the fact that I inherit the status as an enslaved person. What does the area say? It creates a system of inequality. By the time I no, Baku is owned by the other through inheritance by a system of law I are designing, because
the way
we are and away by the dent of the system you work for the plantations and things like that. And then the last part, which is of course the transatlantic slavery, is about 12 to 15 million Africans. Even if you take Ghana at independence, we're just about 6 million, between 5 and 6 million people. Into where say you to me for Africans, almost 12 to 15 million people within the 15th century to 19th century. That is in real terms more than 50% of the people resource here. So it creates a structural inequality. Eja, what is the argument on the other side? Say, oh, now be before Kahon. Of course, now be before Kahon. Nobody can run away from that. There were the polity of the black, which is say a handful, and the merchants who were in the middle trading. Nobody can run away from those facts. But the thing is, the racial chattel slavery as a system, and they say even Hania or Donkofo, but the way they treated Donkofo was very different from making them almost like animals, because Donko to fear the way it's not a proper not Donko were right in the way say of course there were extreme practices in some sections, but the point is the system created Emma Yefa Sebi Bibini by then or ye Bibini quantity your funnel in a way say or yeah juma without right to compensation, without right to say obia or bampa ne bano slave master and that is the system that created the wealth of Europe through whatever system is created, into the inequalities that has been created. And the sad part, the current vice president appointed me to read the second one, which is the more psychological effect on enslavement on us, which is why we don't talk. Yeah, you know, like I said, and then MB before pissing in, NDC for pissing in, depending on who is in power. Where do you think that comes from? Where do you think it comes from? And paper brain, and I recommend every young person reading, please pick Fritz Fanon's book on the richer death. And paper brain create a system, Ususu said, because there was only one house nigger. Because or failed that Broni befa baako na ono de sabi obeye tea ni milo ama masa in the end no obi pre say the proximity to whiteness is what determines their own status. And because of proximity to status ninti and for when say mekako kache Broni say binia
you say
you say Kwame Nkrumah ye too no we know by the classified documents CIA was founded but one of you know Bibini
Ganani.
And the formula is being the same from the very beginning because the system is created in the way say it is a racial distance to whiteness into the in commodity say by dint of the racist nature of this system Bibini Nenipa right and the closeness you are to whiteness whether in structure then utumi wasoro exactly and in order to get there mema mutuo munkumuhu and by the time amubekumuhu no if I can divide you at any point in time I'll have the dominance. Holocaust.
30 seconds.
Holocaust. Jew for, which is why a lot of people are expressing shock why the Jews voted against this resolution. They insisted that it was recognized as one of the worst crimes against them. There were treaties signed in Luxembourg as far back as 1952 after those things, and reparations were made to the people of Israel for what Federal Republic of Germany did against them. The point is where say what
America
minim say my main comment minim say yeah excuse we for our own responsibility because say papa mini apenya alaji etra ma me bonasum no tell obi majimi o obomasuma I'm to blame some Abonasum, but he's to blame as well because said
right to defense.
Right? Said me na naka chem say akwankwa na temu so be marginal. And so because of the orientation in our own minds, we susu say obia ntimi nje just a broni, which is the slave mentality. So we have our own role and own responsibility. That is granted. And yenyina yenjin to me say what happened to us is because ye maya ho kwan. And because but the point is the system was unequal, the system was unjust, the system is been declared by the UN as the gravest crime to humanity. And I will say a boy Mahama Basso, the question is what do we need to do with it? Okay. The conversations of reparations must happen. But for us as a people, I would say, what did that system make us? Because Yera Kufuor, Akufo-Addo. One of the things I liked about his presidency was the year of return. 400 years. Whoever gave him the revelation and the wisdom to mark that year of return, 400 years of enslavement. The God who gave him that revelation needs to be, we need to thank him for that event alone. Okay. Because for once we recognize this happened and it led to those conversations we're seeing today. But one, what has that system made of us? The superiority yɛde bɛma no sɛ ɛyɛ akɔ restaurant me na me bɛtua ne sika ama no because ɔyɛ adwuma ma me he will still receive respect more than me why
ɛyɛ mentality wɔn adwuma yɛ adwuma nti na sɛ yifi yɛ adwuma mu etu ɛbɔ yɛn
that is the
the Russian guy in town
that is the real guy in town
because the effect to the extent that let me know ka say utie yɛ mpanyinfo no bebree yɛn nuanom a wɔ abokyiri ɔsɛ ɔbɛ sini bu aka sɛ ɔsɛ me area me wɔ abokyiri me nko na me bibini me class a me kɔ me nko na me bibini I mean
but it's a effect of the system
in America I mean it lingers on into this realization no should let us
excellent madam as papa madam as oh black stars no 5 na me pesa me kan wasa because no ma Jimmy Ghana jersey pa
5-1
now I know me say 5-1 Austria na team your technical team no kwa sabasa 17 technical team members no so mo ko training a na se bo say o mo do so go mo so mo bomb play so mo tu nyomo motivation time no so be hwe no na ayi your friend say na do nya picture bi afa to se enfa nya hwe for pan
aja no na dey go dey work out
when you say the coach ni pama ko 17 technical team
any coach
coach no have for na say yes is na
Austria ball 5 NS man Germany
and England
and
we are 100% of the ball so we learn from the mistakes
that's who are rich I mean we've had such experiences yeah kwa na akoye ni
5 dey here now
yeah kodu kwa na
some disaster
but it's a wake up call
okay
na will be beer I was say ye ni
but we can say we sue local black stars na akobo you remember the president said it in the campaign it's even in your manifesto local black star ba local player ba
Alaji also meda wase papa na krata bia fi National Catholic Secretariat aba ani nyina ne se na Lincoln University for sanka Lincoln University university wo the US sanka omo bom mampani aba so Lincoln na womo ahwe science omo mampani aba so san se LGBTQ+ no mampani agina se anya de obaso so Ghana yesi yan so unity no sa award no omo twe sign Assemblies of God asafo no ebo mampani aba so pa se eye se wo ba kokje sa ayi ahwehwe bi no na ya hye wo sa duku ni ya hye wo sa jarabi akase bi no na since wo do onyamesom ebeto nchen no omo da na se na solidarity a ye Carol Bishop Conference dia ba no asem papa omo de krata ba 2010 se omo ta Assemblies of God ene mampani achi se dia sa Lincoln University for na ye no sabi me Agya Kwabena eyensem hunu kura mo fa mu duku na mo fa mu ayi picture say picture say dey na eno emfa me nko ba bia na mampani so ye interview enra e ma ne kan say ade no ayo man bia ne de opɛ ɔman bia ne ne hyehyɛ enti utumi nkasa chinchina atwan wo say dey sabi safra che me na mu hɛ ya me gina me nanso yi na wo na me apɔchi bi no eche me kofi am se ma me ɔba mpɛ me ware ni enkoyi enti yabada o masipo papa na yebe gina bebi egina na
Philadelphia ejina ama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama highest award omo ultimately ama obida
yasempa enti yenyina na ye through this and we kwaba to be a boy opportunity say say ye gidigidi na ye ko ana me baby awoda me ba no awoda ma hinkro kofi me pamcho me ba no ye friend no blessed nto yeboa okosuku owe Yesumo International School wadoma hinkro na bra kofi birthday kofi baby obi ya otirin kwapa o ma me ma jo ene o papa ene unuanom ene ma Linda obunyina se oboma otirin kwapa be friend bra kofi ne ho ndi ka se enti ene na woda enra na Mr. Yeboa doma hinkro VIP pani na enra na woda enti Mr. Yeboa no mire nso sorry anopai me mountain kwapa na ene so lawyer Sami Jamfi ono so na woda enti Sami baby a obi ano mountain kwankwa tenten ahode ne bi samo wa bere bia to pa ne de ene bullet de baba bebre na nso no se shield ne stronger enya de betuma penetrate ayehwe through you no amanfo ene say birthday ama wishi so no be see twabo mu social media no enya sanketo akora
make me wish ni bi
Sami coordinated attack ma wishi ni say no be twabo social media no Sami blessed happy birthday to you bro
happy birthday that's our communication officer lawyer Sami JV happy birthday
yes they gina kan bi na man ye de say bi kan ye no yes odom dodo any tia the sister krache anti say yan kan wasam kra na say woni nipa anti ya mama ne kan wasam be say mama ho ahi nti ye de besia abadwafo madam asem no momre na wo so ahwe so mada sepa so ahwe na mo no dwumade na hyase be kan bibi say wo ho na se bibi enyini a borema ni nyini me ma ne nsai esa se dua na enyini ba no se wotumi bo ma ni nyini kosoro a wo kine bi no ebetumi aba be shade ama wotumi agina ase e de agi mframa wotwagu a betumi so nya sa shade no nti so man mu no obi ye bibi na sade ne ya no we stand so party no kra beto o man no and party no so nyina so mo kwa mo man no enti na ti obi ye bibi de abo man na ya ya kasetia ya nyina Ghana ho kane asena dwi party ho ende betu abo anya sa party a ye bi de dokoro kwa bi di de Agya Kwabena meda team na sese o mhye dwuma de mam so betina kenkan mam ana say di hu chia me mam ye ho ya domada se ne ye be hia akra mo nyina